Is this the dagger? Oh, unbelievable! How about that?
It's time for Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Happy Friday and welcome in. Sportstime on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. It's the January 13th, 2023 edition of the program. We're always live from the Family Leisure Studios in beautiful Memphis, Tennessee. I am former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn on Twitter at G_Kuhn71. Producing the program from our team Memphis is Brian Dacus on Twitter at Brian_Dacus. Brian, what's happening?
No, nothing much.
And my partner does pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He is Brett Stats Norsworthy on Twitter at Brett Norsworthy. Brett, how goes it?
Going well. Are you superstitious on this Friday the 13th?
Just a little stitious.
I'm not at all. One of two Friday the 13th we'll have this year. Next one, Friday, October 13th.
You know, to be honest with you, Brett, until you even brought it up, I hadn't even wanted to think about it.
You shouldn't think about it because it means nothing. It's for silly, insecure people that are paranoid about
Do you hold your
superstitions.
breath? Do you hold your breath when you go over bridges?
Nope.
Do you?
I'll find me a ladder. Else? I'll walk right under it.
Do you split poles? When you're walking with a friend, do you guys make sure you don't split a pole?
I don't want to crack my mirror, but if it cracks,
do you step on a crack?
I do step on cracks. Yes.
Okay, nice. So, okay.
I would step on chalk for a baseline.
Okay, so no superstition or stition.
None.
I get
None.
You. Yeah, nice. There you go. Friday the 13th. What about those movies? Do you enjoy the movies? Have you watched any of them?
Are those the one with Kathy Lee Curtis?
Jamie Lee? Yes, I believe so.
Jamie.
Yeah, Kathy.
I just conflated Kathy Lee Griffin with Jamie Curtis, didn't I?
I don't even think it's Kathy Lee Griffin. I think it's just Kathy Griffin.
Oh, is that right? No, at one time I think she was Kathy Lee. I really do.
Really?
Yeah.
So, seriously, hit us up, 901-360-8255 if you think that's the truth. I've never
way
heard
back
of that.
before she met Frank Gifford.
I don't know. That's not the Friday the 13th, isn't? Is that Jamie Lee Curtis?
No, who am I confusing? There's somebody out there that's Kathy Lee, isn't it? The comedian?
Jamie Lee. Kathy Griffin is just
I got it all conflated. I'm sorry.
Yeah, now I'm confused.
I watched the first and the second or so of the Jamie Curtis movies.
Which I think's Halloween, right? That's Halloween.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. But listen, I'm not a big horror movie film.
I can't stand
I'm not a horror buff, so somebody would have to correct
I like Halloween, but I don't like the movies.
I'm pretty sure Friday the 13th is the Camp Crystal Lake one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather watch Porky's. That's the camp I want to go to.
Fat Camp? You remember what's the Heavyweights? You ever seen Heavyweights?
I can't remember it.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic stuff.
No, I'm not frightened easily, and I'm not superstitious.
Good. But it is Friday the 13th. I know there's some superstition out there, though. A lot of our listeners. We have some superstitious listeners out there, I'm sure. Now, real quick, let me lay out the show as we are loaded today, as we normally are on a Friday. First half of our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. We have a bunch of guests. 3:30, Alan Bell will join us. We try to get you some picks for the weekend. That's what we try to do. CBS Sports Line. He'll talk some wagering for Super Wild Card Weekend. And by the way, I have a question before we get to we're going to talk about this at the bottom of hour one, but is the win kind of out of the sails a little bit of Super Wild Card Weekend? I know the numbers will come back big, and there's a couple of good games. Jags, Chargers.
It's only the second year of it.
Monday, we're going to get Cowboys and Bucks, but the injuries to the quarterbacks for some of these games, when we look at Lamar Jackson and Tua Tagovailoa, that's rough.
It is, but the NFL, you can't have it both ways. You can't have Super Wild Card Weekend and only play 16 games.
Brett, we had this discussion too. You asked me who I wanted in the AFC to get that final spot, that 7th seed, and I said the Dolphins. So long as Tua Tagovailoa is playing, I get what I wish for. I honestly would rather have the Steelers in there right now. In all honesty, that would have been a more intriguing matchup in the grand scheme of things. Because Skylar Thompson has no chance of even challenging the Bills, let's be honest.
I think he does.
Really? We're getting the Friday football forecast at 5:30. Is that a hint?
That is. I like a lot of these dogs.
Well, to be honest with you, Brett, challenging is, if they cover, that's a different conversation. Beating them is
under 10's challenging.
What's it, 13.5 right now? Is the line, I believe? The adjusted line, it's gone from 9.5 to 10.5 to 13.5. It's grown a lot. But anyway, we're going to bring on Alan Bell to talk about Super Wild Card Weekend. Bruce Marshall will join us to talk the same from the Gold Sheet at 4 o'clock. And we'll also talk about the end of the college football season. That was we can't ignore what Georgia did. We'll get to that at 4 o'clock with Bruce Marshall. 4:30, Ty Richardson will join us from ESPN Arkansas. We'll talk some Razorbacks. They took a L the other night on the court at home against a really good Bama team. But we'll talk to him about Hog basketball, a little bit of Hog football, and we'll get to the SEC as a whole. 5 o'clock, Jason Munz will join us. And I also want to bring this up with him, and we'll talk about it separately. But the Tigers' metrics after the other night actually improved. The net is higher, and the Ken Pom ranking is higher. Their metrics improved after that double OT loss to UCF.
Just don't play Sunday, and it'll improve even more.
Maybe, but we'll talk to Jason Munz at 5 o'clock. Obviously, the commercial appeals beat writer for Tiger basketball. 5:30, of course, we get the First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast, and we'll cover Super Wild Card Weekend with that one. Also, we're going to have to talk a little bit of college football, as there's been Georgia has a couple of guys declaring for the NFL draft. And interestingly enough, we do have an OC switch at Ohio State. Brian Hartline is promoted to offensive coordinator. But the question has to be addressed. Why is C.J. Stroud not declared for the NFL draft? Why is he still waiting? What's the holdup?
I don't know what the holdup is.
That's an interesting one. And I've heard some the rumor mill starts spinning when things like this happen, but
as in staying or
as in
transferring?
Potentially staying, not transferring, but potentially staying. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but we will discuss. Listener lines 901-360-8255. You can also watch us live and message us on our socials, Sports56 WHPQ, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And go to our website, sportsmemphis.com. I have to start here because this affects your fall job. Pete Golding leaves Bama, and he's headed to Ole Miss to replace Chris Partridge as the defensive coordinator. I want to caution people from going in on Pete Golding. I know Alabama fans did not appreciate Pete Golding in the moment, but grand scheme of things, they were a top 15 group every year he was there.
Every year.
And for him to move on
number
to Ole
2
Miss,
this year and last year in the SEC.
For him to move on to Ole Miss, to move to that sort of level of job in the SEC, I think it's a step up from what they've had. Obviously, DJ Durkin was good, but I think it's a step up from their staff last year and Chris Partridge running that defense.
It's a party in both places. Ole Miss really, really glad to get him and need him badly on the recruiting front, of which he is very good. Now, he has been selling Alabama. That's a really easy sell, but I think he can sell about anywhere, and I know there's plenty to sell at Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin needs that. Because just like in the NFL now or in the NBA, you got to nail it draft, you got to nail it free agent. Well, in college football now, in college basketball, you've got to nail it in high school recruiting and in portal. And it has not been nailed in high school recruiting the last few years by Ole Miss. Portal's been pretty good. Lane Kiffin's got a really good handle on that and a really good a group in the building handling that. Pete Golding's going to come in and be totally in charge of all the high school recruiting, and he is quite a recruiter. The Alabama party for his exit,
huge.
I think will even be even more combustible in a bigger party if they get, and I think they will, get Jeremy Pruitt. On the field and in recruiting, we know that he can do it. But you mentioned it. Statistically, I know in dynamic, I know on game day it didn't feel like it. I know with Will Anderson and with Dallas Turner it didn't feel like it this year, as dominant as they would like for him to be. But statistically, I don't know how you can argue with what Pete Golding has accomplished.
Brett, they were the 9th-rated scoring defense in the country. They gave up 18 points a game. They were a top 10 scoring defense. I mean, in the end of the day, people can talk about the talent holding up Pete Golding at Alabama, and I think there's some truth to that. But that's part of what he did. He recruited the defensive side of the ball, and that's the biggest thing. You mentioned it. The recruiting part of this hire is the biggest selling point because Lane Kiffin, I think Lane Kiffin's a fine recruiter on the offensive side of the ball. I think defensively he sort of ignores it. He tries to get his guys. He tries to get his side of the ball right. Defensively, Chris Partridge was not going to be able to consistently recruit the level of talent that you need to compete in the SEC West. And I think now that you have a guy like Pete Golding, you can go and do that. And his track record precedes him in that regard. He has recruited at a very, very high level at Bama. And I think when you talk about the selling point, yes, I think that's a fair point. But Pete Golding in himself, the ties he has to the South, to the Southeast of this really country, he's really good at recruiting. It may be a step down when you're talking about recruiting at Alabama, but he'll still get some good guys in there.
Well, it's a step down for everybody anywhere but Alabama, maybe at Ohio State, but those brands are so good. And Gabe, watching these games in the last couple of years in the SEC, and I know we've always had players from over there. Heck, Alabama had Joe Namath from Beaver Falls, PA.
Yeah.
But that was a real outlier. To look up the other night, and you see for Georgia, they have a tight end from Napa Valley. They have a freshman nose guard from Denton, Texas.
At Alabama
had a quarterback
right.
from California. Will Levis from up there in where was he from? In somewhere way up there,
Pennsylvania, I believe. Don't quote me on it.
And that's how national the brand now is in the SEC. Several years ago, for Alabama, he ended up not being very good, but Alabama to go in and sign Mr. Ohio at linebacker, Jonah Williams from California. I mean, you just look around college football now and you see these rosters, and it used to not be like that. It was largely, there were a few exceptions, I know, but it was largely from around here. Kind of Alabama had guys from Alabama and Georgia, Auburn the same. Mississippi and Mississippi State had Mississippi guys. I know there were a few. I don't need every text of the exceptions. I know them, but mostly it was kind of from this geographic footprint. But now it's sea to shining sea for the SEC. If the number one tailback in the country is from Seattle, Washington, Bama's going to be in on him. Georgia's going to be in on him. Tennessee was the big exception for a long time when it was kind of from people from around here. They could go get players from different parts of the country.
Well, look right now, Nico Iamaleava is from California, the guy they're bringing in at quarterback. By the way, Will Levis from Connecticut, so he's from the Northeast. But especially with all this,
covers a lot of states.
Pennsylvania, whatever. But all of this money above board and the NIL collectives and all the money that they can be promised on the recruiting trail changes a lot of conversations. And in the Southeast of the country, where they take college football seriously, that's where the most money can generally be made. At the college
Ole Miss
level.
has got a quarterback from Utah right now.
Yeah, it changes. It changes.
I mean, our quarterback used to be from Ripley and New Albany and Pascagoula. And, now you got a quarterback from way out there in Utah, and I think he'll have a good year next year. A lot of it is NIL, but Gabe, I really believe. And I know they're going to move on from it. If it hadn't been for COVID, they would already have moved on from the CBS contract, and it runs out after when all the shakeup changes in a few years. It runs out paralleling to that, and there's going to be a new blockbuster SEC deal, and CBS is not going to be one of the partners. But that 2:30 Central Time SEC game going to 100% of the country, that was a great branding for the SEC.
Well, no. I want to make myself clear. The national recruiting did not start when NIL started. It's been going on for a long, long time.
You were clear.
I don't want to make that confused. But also for Alabama, in return, I am about ready for the Jeremy Pruitt announcement. I feel like that's just inevitable.
Go ahead and
they
do
all
it.
Want it. Every single person wants it.
And why wouldn't they?
And you look in, 2016 and 17, he was there. He was the Alabama
defense. Be better is roll out Jeremy Pruitt and Lance Thompson on the same day. Just go ahead. Take your shot.
Alabama was the third-ranked defense in 2016, his first year, and the second-ranked defense in 2017 before he left for
Tennessee.
Great
defensive coach.
He's unbelievable. Now, I think there's some complications.
I think a great guy.
There's also some complications that they have to work out, whether because of the NCAA.
Complications, complications. I mean, it'll be fine.
But obviously he hasn't
It's
been
the
hand
SEC.
down.
It's college football now.
It means more. He hasn't been handed a show cause yet, or if he will. I don't know how that all works, but I'd imagine Alabama and Nick Saban can find their way around the supposed complications that come with hiring Jeremy Pruitt.
Show me a cause, and I'll show you a bunch of paperwork.
But I think Jeremy Pruitt getting in that building for Alabama can at least alleviate a little bit of what we saw in that Tennessee game this year. Guys out of place, getting beat over the top, no help
Texas
defense.
Game. Oh, the Texas game was so bad.
Safety's not attaching. I mean, Texas, it's kind of funny because they give up 20 points? Or 19?
Yeah, if they move the ball.
Yeah, they move the ball, especially with Quinn Ewers in there. Yeah, I get that, but that was not even the worst one. It was Tennessee. That's the one you look at.
Tennessee was full bottoming out.
And
it was.
It becomes funny.
The penalties lined up wrong. You're right. Throwing it over their head.
Yes, yeah. Safeties just not attaching to deep routes. It's just weird what was going on. Corners just sitting when guys are running. Jalen Hyatt is running a switch release go ball.
Nobody ever knows to give it to the safety.
Yeah, it was bizarre, and I think that also needs to come down to Nick Saban as well. Nick Saban needs to be blamed for that.
The secondary coach is the greatest secondary coach that's ever been in this sport.
That's true. But you didn't see those busts when Jeremy Pruitt was on campus. You didn't see those busts. It just was not as frequent.
The Bama fan frustrations at everything. It's not being in the playoffs. It was the 2 losses. It was how they played in the wins. It was Bill O'Brien. It was Pete Golding.
You blame
and
everybody.
I don't blame them. And they shouldn't. They're not going to blame CNS. They're not going to blame Coach Nick Saban. And why would they? And with what he's done, but the Bama fan that is still convinced they should have been in the playoffs over TCU. Here's what happened. The College Football Playoff Committee got it right. TCU deserved to be in. Would Alabama had played Georgia a much closer game? There's no question about that. May have even beat them. But still, just like in baseball last year, I think the Dodgers would have played the Astros a closer World Series. They didn't advance that far.
Yep. That's just life. That's it. We have to go by the metrics and the wins and the losses. That's how we have to.
But the Bama fan is so very spoiled.
That's how we have
they
to
don't think a confetti cannon can go off unless the confetti's raining down on them.
But I think overall for Ole Miss to get Pete Golding in that room, and by the way, you and I discussed this 2 weeks ago, and obviously I don't want to be the guy. Well, we knew the whole time. I don't want to be that guy, but this was a pretty not very well kept secret that this was going to happen. Lane Kiffin and Pete Golding very friendly with each other, very buddy-buddy in a lot of ways, and he trusts them with that defense. And I think it's a great step up and a good step in the right direction for that defense.
I mean, we're not John Sokoloff, but we knew. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, I will say, in fairness, Brett, there's two types of people in this world that I can't stand. There's the well-actually person, where whatever you say, they say, well, actually, you're saying the same thing, but they want to correct you anyway. And then the I told you so person. And I don't want to be the I told you so person. I'm just trying to rid myself of that evil, Brett. That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Now,
actually, you're right.
Top story of the day is we're headed into Super Wildcard Weekend. Now, I think a little bit of the wind is taken out of the sails. No Lamar Jackson officially. No Tua Tagovailoa. So you look at the Bengals and you look at the Bills. It looks like they will get.
You're going to watch every play of every game.
I agree, but it looks like they will cruise to easy wins. But hey, anything can happen any given Sunday. But this is the point of the year, and I hate to be this guy. I hate to be cliche, but I'm going to do it anyway, Brett. You know what I'm going to say? Run the ball and stop the run. This is how you win in the NFL playoffs. And you can say all you want about where the game is headed.
Cliches are cliches for a reason.
You can say anything you want about where the game's headed. Patrick Mahomes flinging the ball around the field. Justin Herbert doing the same. Josh Allen doing the same. If you can run the ball and stop the run at this point in the year, you have a good chance of advancing. That's why I look at the NFC. I look at the 49ers, even with Brock Purdy, with a good chance. And I look at the Buffalo Bills defensively. They're ranked very highly. They have a lot of guys up front that can compete. I feel like they're the team in the AFC I would pick. But we do have some interesting notes as of right this second from the Chargers. We know what Brandon Staley had to say, or didn't have to say. He played guys basically last week, and Mike Williams was one of the guys that ended up being taken off on a cart. He fractured his back. He has a fracture in his back. He will not play on Saturday, and he will not play for the remainder of the year. That's just nasty stuff, especially in Justin Herbert's first start in a playoff game.
My top story of the day right there, NFL Wild Card Weekend. 2 games tomorrow, 2 Sunday afternoon, 1 Sunday night, and 1 on Monday night on Dr. Martin Luther King Day, the national observance for that. This is where you get defined this weekend in these playoffs. Ask Phillip Rivers if you don't get defined this time of year. Ask Eli Manning on the other side. Ask Tony Romo. Ask Russell Wilson. He was defined as a winner in playoffs, winning a Super Bowl and getting close to another one. We can have a whole new view of Geno Smith after this weekend. The Brock Purdy legend can only grow. Herbert versus Lawrence. Skylar Thompson can go down in infamy. May go down one way or the other in infamy. Josh Allen, for sure for the Bills. Daniel Jones, he's a lot like Kirk Cousins. They're both super boring but effective. This weekend will be fun, and you also have Huntley versus Joe Cool. Ask Joe Burrow if you're not defined this time of year.
I will say, as far as the rankings of the games, I'll watch every single second of every single game. Brett is correct on that. But when it comes to the games that I'll be keeping an even closer eye on, Cowboys, Bucks, number 1, Jags, Chargers, number 2, Vikings, Giants, number 3. I think those will be very intriguing by the time it's all said and done.
Not top story of the day.
Not top story of the day. I could go a lot of different directions, but I'm going to go in the direction of not the St. Louis. I was about to say the St. Louis Rams. Brett, what is going on with me? Unbelievable. The L.A. Rams head coach, Sean McVay, who there's been a lot of back and forth about him potentially joining a booth somewhere and being an analyst. He tells the Rams that he is staying. I find this interesting because last week he told all of his assistant coaches, including Liam Cohen, his OC, that went right back to Kentucky after a year spent with Sean McVay. He told all of his assistant coaches that they could find other work. What's he going to have as far as a staff is concerned? As far as personnel is concerned, they need to build the O-line. They need a running back room. They need to figure out a way to keep Matt Stafford upright. Defensively, I think they're there, but they're going to have to continue to dole out contracts. So Sean McVay's coming back to the Rams, but that does not equal the Rams' success. I wonder how this looks for him going forward.
My not top story, it'll be Monday's top story, but it's Friday afternoons, not top story. But Monday Night Football will be playoff style this year. It will be everything for a couple people, but particularly for Dak Prescott versus the biggest name, arguably, in football history against Tom Brady Monday night. The entire Dak template can change or be further diminished, as this is as defining a game for him and the Cowboys. I'm going to say it, ever. Defining game for the Cowboys.
Yep.
Last road playoff win for the Dallas Cowboys, January 17th, 1993 in San Francisco at Candlestick. Jimmy Johnson versus George Seifert. Leading receiver that day for the Cowboys, Alvin Harper from Tennessee.
Good Lord. Good Lord, that's been a long time. I will say this. If Cowboys and Dak Prescott in particular, if he can take care of the football, they have a chance to win this game. But he has not done that this year, has he? 15 interceptions so far
it's
this
on
year.
him.
He's going to have to figure it out.
Wait till Monday. He's got to sit and watch all weekend,
hey,
too.
Quick sidebar. Have you seen the AP All-Pro team and the Players All-Pro team?
I did.
Justin in the AP All-Pro team, Justin Jefferson and Travis Kelce were unanimous. I think that's fair. Justin Jefferson ought to win Offensive Player of the Year for what he did this year. I'm not going to go through every single guy going down on each All-Pro list. I will say this, though. This is the first year of the Players All-Pro team. I love it. I love having the players pick one and the AP pick one, comparing, contrasting, because I think there's different opinions that you'll find from guys that actually watch the film week to week as compared to media members.
I agree.
I enjoy that.
Agree.
But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day.
Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel, and it's here, NFL Wildcard Weekend, and boy, it's going to be a lot of fun. And the easiest way to get involved in the playoffs and have fun with it and win money at it is with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. New customers join right now to get started with $150 in free bets. That's a guarantee when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code SPORTS56. Sports56, and have fun all this weekend and all year with the FanDuel app. FanDuel, all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay like the Dolphins plus the 13.5. Jalen Waddle anytime touchdown into under 43.5 in that game. All on an app that's secure, safe, and super easy to use. So football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code SPORTS56. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Always a well-placed FanDuel ad because we bring on some picks next. Alan Bell will join us, notable man of the people. He'll give you the winners coming up on the other side.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Have you been looking for a cigar lounge that's laid back and offers style and a full bar and a great selection of cigars? Now let me tell you about the G-Spot Cigar Lounge, Memphis's premier cigar lounge, offering a wide selection of cigars, open 7 days a week starting at 12 noon for your smoking pleasure. Come kick back, enjoy a beer or a cocktail and a cigar while watching sports on one of their several TVs. G-Spot Cigar Lounge on Instagram and Facebook at the G-Spot Memphis, located at 6135 Mount Moriah Road, Suite 116.
It's time to get your Kia on at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And Bobby J is ready to put you in a new Kia today. You ready for a road trip? How about 41 MPG Highway and your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS? $254 a month, 36-month lease, $27.99 due at signing. Or rock out in your new 2023 Kia Soul. Only $272 a month, 36-month lease, $27.99 due at signing. And if we don't have what you want, not a problem. Let Bobby J order a new ride for you today, and you won't pay over MSRP. Plus, you always get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today at Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars. Forte LXS PE 573573, MSRP 21335, Soul P 7899335, MSRP 21835. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2023. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Corky's Barbecue. Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. We have been helping Memphians with their celebrations for more than 38 years. Whether you're picking up one of our party packs to serve yourself or booking one of our private dining rooms at our Cordova location or our Olive Branch location, Corky's has you covered. We make it easy for you to impress your guests for company parties, sports banquets, or reunions. Corky's has been trusted year after year for all of your party needs. Call today and reserve your private party room before your date is booked.
Flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. It looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop. here on Sports 56. Real sports talk.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Let me tell you what Melvin Toast is packing right here, all right?
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Get it? Text a message. I don't know.
Alan Bell is a man of the people. He gives you out picks every single Friday on this show at 3:30. CBS Sports Line, CBS Sports Digital on Twitter. Make sure you follow his Twitter because he drops some good, important nuggets on you at Alan Bell 247 is where you can find him. Alan, what's happening, man? How are you?
Man, what's good, boys? Y'all doing all right?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. I have to ask off top. I asked Brett this: is the wind out of the sails a tad bit of Super Wildcard Weekend because of the quarterback injuries and that for the Dolphins and for the Ravens with Lamar Jackson and Tua?
I mean, maybe a little bit for those teams, but it's not for everybody else. I mean, we've got a lot of good games, a lot of important games coming up. Got some divisional ones too. So yeah, I mean, it's not perfect, but you know what, man? The NFL, things happen. We see it all the time. Yeah.
We'll
yeah.
watch.
Oh, yeah. Like, let me just go and say, the best bet you can make is that record numbers are going to be set the next couple of weeks. So there you go.
Right.
It sure will be. And Monday night, that TV rating for Tom Brady against the Dallas Cowboys, we know both of them deliver. And everybody at home, a lot of people, we'll be wrapping up a holiday day on Monday in observance of Dr. Martin Luther King, and everybody will be around their TV set. Alan, before we get into game by game and making a lot of picks, the meetings we know that started this week with the Titans, where do they end? How does it end with GM? How does it end with personnel? How do they go into next year?
Yeah, so, I think that, with the GM position, that's going to be handled. I think it's going to be somebody that clearly is going to be able to work together with Mike Vrabel. I don't know what the hierarchy there is, but I don't think Mike Vrabel is going to be answering to anybody, right? So that's going to be one thing. But field-wise, player-wise, they got to figure out two things first. One, quarterback position. Got to figure this thing out, all right? And it's going to be something that's affordable, okay? I don't know what that answer is, whether it's somebody like Tannehill taking, less money or them looking in the free agency market, or somebody that's going to take less money. But that's pretty much what the answer is going to be. But second is the offensive line.
Yep.
This team is built by its offensive line, and that's where everything went wrong. Like, this team is built. When their offensive line is what it was 3-4 years ago, dude, they could be as good as they want to be. So they're going to have to start addressing that. And you're not going to fix it in one off season, you're right, but you just have a plan. That's the biggest thing. Let somebody have a plan of what we're doing, and then everybody's going to feel better about the situation.
Is this the offseason where it's the end of the road for Taylor Lewan?
Yeah, I think so. Unless he's willing to play for a league minimum.
Right.
Yeah, it's just probably so. And I hate it because Lewan's a leader in that locker room. But yeah, you're probably right.
Mm-hmm. Now moving on to Super Wildcard Weekend, let's start with your sort of favorite looks here. Whether it's an over/under, a prop, whatever it may be. What are your favorite looks?
Yeah. So okay.
Al Michaels speaking in gambling code on Monday night, or rather tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's number one, right? No, look, let's look at props first because, in the playoffs, and anyone that's new to sports, I want you to understand, take it easy and simplify things in the playoffs, all right? Don't try to make it too difficult. Make it easier on yourself. So what I mean by that is that last night, me and a couple buddies, we just kind of game scripted how we think these games are going to go and then the prop bets that generally come from it, right? So you look at teams like the Bengals, teams like the 49ers, teams like the Bills. These are good teams to play kicker props. Keep an eye on the weather in San Francisco, but generally, Robbie Gould gets a lot of work when they just want to ice a game and get out of there. The Bengals, Evan McPherson, one of the best kickers in the NFL, they'll use him in a game that has a good defense with the Ravens. The Vikings as well. That's a team that definitely uses Joseph's leg in a dome, controlled environment. So I like those three. I also like Tom Brady to throw an interception. I think that we're going to get into this game here in a bit, but the public is all over and on Tampa Bay. I'm on the opposite side here. And Tom Brady throwing it 50 times a game, but I don't like that at all. Play him for over an interception. Yeah. And then some team totals. Yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead. My bad.
No. I was going to say, and to end it, some team totals, I like the Cowboys over 23.5, and I like the Jaguars over 23.5. So, yeah, go ahead.
And what I was going to say is the Bucs, too. When they won their Super Bowl with Tom Brady 2 years ago, it was largely being able to lean on playoff Lenny, and they were stopping the run. Vita Vea doing a really good job. As much as I believe in Tom Brady in a playoff situation, that team's not the same. Their O-line's not good. They have too many injuries, and they haven't been able to overcome those injuries all year.
100%, right? And look, dude, you know it better than anyone, right? Like, just breaking it down, I don't like Tom Brady throwing it 50 times a game. I don't like an offensive line that's banged up and injured. I don't like a team that can't run the football. I don't like a team whose defense is kind of, wishy-washy on what you're going to get each week. The Cowboys' defensive line could be the absolute difference in this game. If they blow up Tom Brady, it's over.
Yep.
Cowboys secondary, it's over, right? And if Dallas can just run the football, I don't even think Dak has to do a ton because they don't score a lot of points anyway. So, yeah, 100%, man, I'm with you on that.
2 running backs, I think. One should be involved for the positive in almost every player prop. Austin Eckler with the Chargers, you just mentioned, with Buccaneers and Brady. If he has to stand back there and fog it around 50-plus times, we know Leonard Fournette's not going to be involved. I would go under. I'd go against almost anything Leonard Fournette and for almost anything Austin Eckler.
Yep, 100%, man. Austin Eckler is a great play. If you're looking for somebody like an anytime touchdown type back, Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey. Those guys are going to score a touchdown. This is how these teams operate, especially McCaffrey. You know that he is going to get work, especially in a game to where Seattle, this could be a tough matchup for them, man. Like, they want to run the football, and if San Francisco's defense is not letting them doing it, and Seattle's playing from behind, buddy, that could be a nightmare matchup, and Christian McCaffrey could get a million looks at short passes and running the football,
Alan, does anybody bet just the old-fashioned 2-team parlay anymore, just side and total?
Not many, man. Because it's difficult. Like, that's the hardest part, man. And, like, what we've seen in NFL and college football, I'll tell you this. There's so much parity in the league. And 2, like, you really have to understand the referees. And I'm not saying it from a negative perspective, like, this game is picked. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is understanding which referees call holding penalties. Holding penalties kill offensive drives, man. Like, it is the most dangerous penalty in the NFL. I know defensive pass interference is up there too because you get a ton of yardage, but man, one bad holding call, it just shuts things down. So you really have to understand that. And so many people play fantasy football. Prop bets are essentially just fantasy football on steroids.
What do you think of the 49ers running through the NFC and potentially taking them to win the NFC on whatever sort of market you're taking it at?
Yeah, look, the 49ers defense is good enough to take them as far as they want to go. And Brock Purdy, give the kid credit. Like, he has not made any mistakes. But that being said, and here's another prop play for you. The 49ers first half team totals is 13.5. I'd play that over because they know they have to play with the lead, right? In the playoffs, they have to start fast. They have no other option. They do not want to be down 10 points with Brock Purdy having to throw it 40 times, right? So, yeah, man, like, if the 49ers can stay up and get up on you, it's tough sledding. Yeah.
Are the Cowboys and the Eagles still those two teams that you potentially see the 49ers running into that could give them trouble?
Absolutely. Look, that's the thing, man, is like the Cowboys, their ceiling is so high with what they can do and how many points they can score. When they're on, they're one of the best teams in the NFL. Same thing with the Eagles, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the Eagles are more consistent with their Hurts out there. We'll see, how this whole injury situation will not, whatever. But Dallas has a defense, too, though. Like, that's also the other thing.
Yeah.
Dallas defense, like, they can cause you problems no matter how good your team is. So, yeah, 100%, man. Like, Dallas and Philly, in any given Sunday cliche 60-minute type thing, oh, yeah, buddy, like, look out, dude. They can roll you up quick.
Yep.
San Francisco, -9 over Seattle. First game of the day tomorrow. Who do you like?
I like it. I like San Francisco. And look, it's a divisional game. Usually I do not like playing these numbers that high. I just don't know what Seattle's going to do. Like, if they can't use Kenneth Walker to his full ability, like, I love what Geno Smith's done this season, but it ain't going to work, man. So, yeah, I'll roll with San Francisco.
Chargers-Jaguars, I think, is a really good matchup. We know what the Week 3 matchup looked like. James Robinson, obviously, was a Jag at that point, ran for 100 yards, and the Chargers' run defense was pitiful. It's gotten a little better. It's still not great, but it's gotten a little better. Do you give the Chargers more of a chance now that we're in a playoff setting?
No, I'm taking the Jaguars. And honestly, I'm taking the Jaguars straight up to win, but I'll take the points plus 2.5. I think Jacksonville's playing better football. I think they're playing more consistent football. And I think that they're better coached. And, with Mike Williams being out, Joey Bosa, in terms of, he's going to play, but is he 100%? Look, man, I just roll with Jacksonville here. Look, I don't think that they're going to win any Super Bowl. I'm not saying they're going to be the Bengals. But you know what? Dude, that's a good football team. And I'll tell you this, look out, because their secondary is causing turnovers every single game, dude. And that's the catalyst, man, because they're leaving Trevor Lawrence in short fields.
Rayshon Jenkins, one of the more underplayed safeties in the league this year. Now, I do have to say, Brandon Staley, that was clown stuff. I mean, it's just absolute clown show last week. What are we doing?
What'll get you fired?
What are we doing?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if he goes down there and loses to Jacksonville, Sean Payton might be taking that job. Honestly, he's been making dumb decisions ever since he got there, right? Just crazy things.
Sean Payton and Herbert together, oh, gosh.
For that 10 years.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. And the Chargers have the Chargers. Yeah.
On Sunday, the 2 afternoon games, Bills minus 13.5 at home over Miami, and the late afternoon game, Minnesota minus 3 over the Giants.
Yeah, all right, so with the Bills-Dolphins game, give me the under, all right? I don't want to play that large of a number in a divisional game, even though the Dolphins are playing, one of you two guys at quarterback this weekend. I just don't like it. I don't think the Dolphins are going to score many points at all. And quite frankly, I don't think the Bills are going to press it at all. I think that they're going to try to score their points, get up, and not do anything stupid, right? Their biggest thing, it's been the Bills beating the Bills, right? Turning the ball over, doing dumb stuff. I think they get up and then just run the football with Singletary and those guys and just get the hell out of there. So, yeah, I'll take the under. And then what was the other one?
Giants-Vikings.
Yeah, so, all right, look, you look at the two best teams in the NFL in terms of one-score games, right? But you look at, the Vikings, when they're on, their ceiling is just so much higher. I think that, their offense is going to look good, and I don't know if New York can necessarily play up to that level. So I'll take Minnesota while it's at 3. But, yeah, I don't feel super great, but the Vikings, when they're on, they're a pretty good team.
Now, I'm not giving the Ravens any remote chance without Lamar Jackson in the lineup. I don't think anyone should. I don't think it's even remotely possible for them to go win this game. But the Bengals are favored by
the line is dropping.
But the Bengals are favored by 8.5 points. Can they get to that number?
Yeah, I think they can. All right, so we saw them play last week, all right? And the Bengals, quite frankly, they played good, and then they would just turn the ball up, right? They would just cut their legs out. And they still won, and they still covered. I think the Bengals are going to play even better this week. I don't think they're going to make half as many mistakes as they did last week just by, the odds of that happening. And also, the Bengals are coming off of that, Bills game and the DeMar, Hamlin situation and all that. I just don't think the Ravens can score. They might get to 10, but the Bengals are going to get to 24. So, yeah, I'll roll with Cincy there.
Do we have any odds on Lamar Jackson's next team? Anything like that?
No, not yet, man. But, dude, that's fascinating. What do you do with him, man? Because when he's good. But, running is a huge factor of that. And, yeah, it's a tough situation.
But also for them, they're he is their offense. They've not surrounded him with wide receivers. Their running back situation's pretty ugly since J.K. Dobbins tore the Achilles.
Yeah. They've mirrored his backup exactly to him. Lamar Jackson is that offense. That's a great point, yeah.
Alan, real quick, Monday Night Football. Cowboys favored on the road against Tom Brady and the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm all over the Cowboys. We talked about it just a minute ago. I'm going to fade the public here. I'm going to roll the Cowboys. I think they're a much better team. I think their defense. And you know what? I'll give the Cowboys credit. When it's go time and they know what time it is, they step up. You remember that loss they had to the Packers? It was just inexcusable, right? And they all knew it and said it right after the game. They were like, that was a mistake. We're going to fix that. They came right back the next week, and I think they won by 40, right? Dallas knows what time it is. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. They could, but I'll take them to win this game and cover.
Well, we'll see. You enjoy it, and good luck to you, Alan. Appreciate you joining us, man.
Man, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Great
Thank
stuff.
you, Alan. Thank you. Good luck this weekend. Alan Bell from CBS Sports on all things NFL this weekend, and what a schedule of games. To watch all those games, you need to be loaded up, and the place to do it, the places to do it, the new Collierville Commissary, Houston Levy and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. And right now, if you're craving an easier way to order, or over the weekend, you're ready for something to eat, just text Commissary to 33733. Great for groups, any size group, whether it's an alumni association group or just the guys or the gals that get together, a weekly group. The perfect place for it. Commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar, the new Collierville Commissary, that Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, the Memphis way, the slow-cooked way at the Commissary. Dig into the ribs of the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a sandwich, on a plate. But before you get to that, try those appetizers. They're big enough. It's good enough to be your entree. But start with this and go slow. Like the slow-cooked way, go slow eating it with the barbecue nachos, the tamales, the cheese plate, the smoked chicken wings, the desserts, lemon icebox pie, banana pudding, strawberry cake, also very good. The soups. On a cold, crisp weekend like this, try the Brunswick Stew, 901-754-5540, online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown, those great party areas. A little cool for tonight, maybe by Sunday afternoon for the Tiger game. Get outside and watch that, and watch the NFL games outside at the Collierville Commissary at Houston Levy of Poplar, or at the original in Germantown, 901-754-5540, online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and in Germantown. Happy weekend this weekend from everyone at the Commissary.
Now, a lot of Super Wild Card weekend discussions, and as we sit here, there's a notable exclusion from the playoffs this year, and they happen to be in Green Bay. And there's a lot of drama. The gift that keeps on giving in Aaron Rodgers, there's another sort of chapter in that saga. GM Brian Gutekunst spoke today. We'll tell you what he said on the other side.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles, ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Hey Memphis, this is Johnny B with the Memphis Music Room. Consider Memphis Music Room for your next event. Our venue has a total of 4,000 square feet in the dining area with a full commercial kitchen and a bar serving a variety of liquor, wine, and beer. Our main hall has 8,000 square feet and a seating capacity of 1,000 and a full festival-sized stage with a permanent back line and lighting. We'd love to plan your next event, from an anniversary to a birthday party to a wedding celebration. Call us today at 808-5000 or visit us at memphismusicroom.com and come celebrate with us.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refunds belong to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
This season, we're celebrating how basketball is evolving, on and off the court. Let's raise a glass of Hennessy to all the artists taking the game to new heights. Hennessy, the spirit of the NBA. Never stop, never settle. Please drink responsibly. Imported cognac Hennessy, 40% alcohol by volume. 2023. Imported by Moet Hennessy USA Incorporated, New York, New York. Hennessy is a registered trademark.
It's time to discover new roads in the new year at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get ready to blaze new trails in the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. We Gossett at $359 a month or buy for just $26,350. Gets 29 mpg highway. Or get ready to take your pick from 2022 Outlander or 2023 Eclipse Cross for just $399 per month. And you'll always get peace of mind in your new ride with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $359 per month. 2022 Outlander or 2023 Eclipse Cross, $399 per month. You won't go wrong ever when you shop Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Sport PU 02100 MSRP 27100 Outlander NZO 84912 MSRP 32250 Eclipse PC 004373 MSRP 33335 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
What we are dealing with here is a perfect machine. It's really a miracle of evolution.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Now, I haven't touched on it all week, but did we see the news on Monday that Tennessee's getting an In-N-Out burger? Any In-N-Out burger fans? Brett, have you ever had it?
Never had it.
Brian hasn't either. Brian let me know. Brian also trashed me. Podcast with Bluff City Media. We did a top 5 draft for fast food restaurants. I took Whataburger first overall. He didn't like that.
Bad first pick.
Not a big fan of that. We have a Whataburger within driving distance. I found it funny.
I'm with Brian on that. I think it's just massively overdone.
Well, sure it
Thank
is.
you,
That
Brett.
doesn't mean it's bad. This is what we have to make a distinction.
Great,
we have to make a distinction. Well, is any fast food like great?
Yes.
No.
Right. Exactly. Well,
But
Brian, I'm ignoring Brian.
I can go to ABC convenience store and get a grilled burger as good as any of those places.
That's right.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay.
I got one 0.6 of a mile from my house that mean cheeseburger.
The governor making a announcement on Twitter the way he did about In-N-Out, like he was giving out a pardon, was a little weird.
Like we got the superconductor here.
Right? That was so bizarre.
Like an Air Force base was like moving back to here.
We're not
like we used to have.
We're not getting an In-N-Out till 2026 in the state, and he's top of the.
I mean,
top
Oak
of
Ridge
the news
gets
cycle.
an atomic reactor, and we get an In-N-Out.
Yeah, that was weird to me. That was very, very bizarre. But you know what? I need an In-N-Out in Memphis. It'll be a while till that happens, though.
I've been to Whataburger. I think I stopped at a Whataburger going to College Station this year. And I mean, it's
Whataburger or Buc-ee's?
It's Sonic with a different name.
Whataburger or Buc-ee's?
Buc-ee's.
When we're talking about hype train versus reality, which one's
I don't
better?
think any hype tops Buc-ee's. I mean, it was the Adonis Thomas of hype.
That's right. The Nick King of hype.
Yeah,
no, that's true.
That's
true.
it, Brian. The Karan Iverson.
Oh, it's a great one.
We have any more before we
can't
move
top
on to
any off
Aaron
the top of my
Rodgers
head.
news?
If I do, I'll just shout it out. Don't worry.
We could go a while, unfortunately.
Now, the Greg Oden hype, or the Greg Oden,
He got drafted in the
Anthony
NBA.
Bennett, okay, I'll stop.
We're going more Memphis centric.
I know you. I know. I'm just trying to get it on the net.
Gabe, you know my first comment. I mean, it was like from the Progressive ad when we were standing outside Buc-ee's. I said, "Can you imagine what this concrete cost?"
Oh, I got my picture with Bucky though. So
You
that's
need
all I
to
need.
frame that.
That's all.
That's a huge
that's all I
picture.
need. And Taylor got her what do you call it? Koozie. She got her Bucky's
And I got
koozie.
the chocolate covered pecans.
Were they good?
So
They were good.
they were good. Yeah.
I got and I was told about the chopped brisket sandwich. Very good. For a gas station. Very good. And you can't call it a gas station. But
I still prefer the Loves at Jasper. I'm sorry.
and your
the crossroads of the
your
SEC.
mustard covered hot dog.
Oh yeah.
I don't even
my mustard covered shirt.
We can't call it covered. That was doused. Just mustard
and the
doused
chopped
hot dog.
onions. It kind of stayed with me all week.
All right. Now, the gift that keeps on giving. More Aaron Rodgers news. Yippee! Yay! GM Brian.
Wait till July. We're gonna have it.
GM Brian Gutekunst from the Packers spoke up today on what he thinks of his roster and what he thinks of Aaron Rodgers is what he had to say.
If Aaron wants to come back, he'll be here. He said multiple times this year that he doesn't think it'll be just his decision. Do you guys want him as your quarterback next year?
Yeah, like I said in the bye week, I think I want all these guys back. That's part of that. He's certainly going to take some time. I think that's fair. And as we work through this, I think as he takes his time, kind of makes his decision just on his playing career in general, then we'll get together and move forward that way.
If Aaron wants to.
All right. At what point do we sit back and just say, if you're a Packers fan, I think there's a lot of Packers fan there, but the Packers front office, when do you say, okay, I'm tired of this situation. We need to move on. He's on the back. You brought up back nines. He's on the last 3 holes of his career. At what point do you say, let's cut ties, let's move on? They gave him what he wanted last year. He has $60 million in cash. He has $60 million in cash owed to him next year, and he's still talking about potentially moving away. This is awful.
And I think it's coming. I'm taking a flyer on this one. When he says something very cutting about Green Bay itself.
He stayed away from that, though. He is.
I know.
This entire time.
That's the final frontier.
I guess so. And I guess there's potential for that, especially with the way Green Bay Packer fans are talking about him right this second. But I don't know if he'll ever go there. But at this point, make him someone else's problem, right? This whole offseason was just a mess, right? You have to deal with the last 2 offseasons have been a mess, but this offseason was a mess. You re-up him, you give him money, and he doesn't show up to OTAs to get in sync with his new receivers. By the end of the year, he was finally in sync with Christian Watson and Alan Lazard and all these guys. But what if that happened in week 3, week 4? You're talking about a different team altogether. You're talking about a team that's probably at the top of the NFC.
And you could see it syncing up with more reps. Voila.
In the end of the day, I know what a tremendous talent he is, but damn, he hasn't done anything to help that team as of late as far as off-season drama is concerned.
13 years ago was a Super Bowl.
13 years ago was the last time he won a Super Bowl. You had a chance to go to the Super Bowl, but or not to the Super Bowl, but to the NFC Championship, but you couldn't win a game against the 49ers team at home that didn't even score an offensive touchdown.
Think of his last home game losses. Had one last week to Jared Goff. Had him to Eli Manning. Had it to Tom Brady.
There comes a time where, okay, he's a tremendous talent, but is he helping us consistently? And I'd say at this point in his career, with where he's at with his ayahuasca experience, no. It's too much intrusive thoughts, deep thinking, and it's getting in the way of the football. It's getting in the way of ultimately winning. So we'll see what they do, but it looks like Brian Gutekunst is still on the Aaron Rodgers train. I understand to a certain extent, but there comes a time and a place where you just have to decide to cut ties. And I don't know if that's going to happen this offseason, but we shall see. Hour number 2 is on the way, and we are loaded. We will have Ty Richardson at 4:30, talk some Arkansas basketball, football, and some SEC. But coming up next, we get you some more picks. We talk about Super Wildcard Weekend, a little bit of college basketball. We get around the world of sports with our guy Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet.
Looking for a bar with it all? Pimento's Burgers Bar and Grill. Pimento's makes football your fantasy with 17 TVs and $2 draft beers during the game, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you know I love a great happy hour. At Pimento's, $4 house cocktails, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Yes, $4 house cocktails. Try one of their signature drinks like the JJ Spicy Margarita or the Tennessee Sunset. How about a Memphis Mudslide? Or be a kid again with the Adventure River Rum Punch. Hungry? Try a fan favorite, Bacon Pimento Cheeseburger. Or be like me and try them all. The Mushroom Extravaganza, Sweet Heat, and the Dirty, Mean, and Nasty. Need I say more? Well, yes, because there's so much more than just pimento cheese. Sliders, salads, quesadillas, 10 different appetizers. Just don't forget about dessert. 2 great locations, 6450 Poplar Avenue in East Memphis, and in Collierville, 3751 South Houston Levee Road. A bar with it all, Pimento's Burgers Bar and Grill. So much more than pimento cheese.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
We told you this was going to happen, and now it has. The floor model sale is happening at Family Leisure, lowest prices of the year, on pool tables, on those wonderful spas, on patio furniture, state-of-the-art, and of course the game tables. Floor model arcades are now starting at $1,200. It's your last chance for a 2022 pool. And floor model trampolines are only $2,100. That's the installed price. Family Leisure, I-40 and Wooden Road, where family and fun come together. I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Hey Memphis, this is Johnny B at the Memphis Music Room. Consider Memphis Music Room for your next event. Our venue has a total of 4,000 square feet in the dining area with a full commercial kitchen and a bar serving a variety of liquor, wine, and beer. Our main hall has 8,000 square feet and a seating capacity of 1,000 and a full festival-sized stage with a permanent back line and lighting. We'd love to plan your next event, from an anniversary to a birthday party to a wedding celebration. Call us today at 808-5000 or visit us at memphismusicroom.com and come celebrate with us.
Forte PE 573, MSRP 21335, K5 LSX 00991 8857, MSRP 26805. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details. Hey, Jeff, my man, are you ready to almost give away some new Kias today to start the new year off right at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
You bet I am, Randy. How about 41 MPG Highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS, only $254 a month. 36-month lease, $27.99 due at sign.
Hey, Jeff, how about that new K5? That thing's awesome.
We got it at just $319 a month. 36-month lease, $31.99 due at signing. Plus, with all your new Kias, you know you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if you don't see exactly what you want, I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
How do you want that cooked? Burnt to a crisp or bloody as hell?
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Hour 2 of Sports Time is upon you on a Friday. I'm Gabe Kuhn. He's Brett Stats Norsworthy. Brian Diggs, of course, producing the program. If you want to hit us up, we're still here. Our listener line, 901-360-8255. You can also watch us live and message us on our socials, Sports 56 WHBQ, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And go to our website, sportsmemphis.com. Without further ado, let's bring on Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. Bruce, how goes it?
Hey, I'm pretty good. Still recovering from the Monday night football game, but I'm still here.
Bruce, I said all in all, do you think TCU was really proud of this experience?
Yeah, although, they morphed into Vanderbilt on Monday night, which I can't still, get over.
It's going to stay with them forever, too. Yeah. That's all anybody's going to remember.
I know, and it's just such a bad way to end it like that. So I just wonder, I don't usually feel bad for these football teams. I sort of felt bad for TCU just because they got
sorry
so
for their fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt sorry for their fans and the team and the program. Everything good. This is one of the great stories we'd seen in the recent years of Sonny turning that thing around like that. But I just wonder, psyche-wise, what that's going to do, what it does sort of the Big 12 too. I mean, to really get eviscerated like that. I mean, that was every bit as bad as that score indicated. I mean, that's a true score of how that game was played. I mean, it was men versus boys, and you normally don't think you see it. And what confused was, I mean, I didn't think Michigan had beat TCU 65-7, but we thought something like that where they would be able to control the line of scrimmage and they would sort of dominate. That didn't happen in the semifinal, and that got us to think, oh, wait a minute, if TCU could stand up to Michigan, they shouldn't be that outclassed versus Georgia, and I think that was pretty much system-wide. I mean, that's why most of the numbers sort of went down. There were more people betting on TCU. But after 5 minutes, I mean, you could tell. I mean, it was over, and it reminded me like of the Oregon or the South Carolina game when Georgia you could just tell right at the start they couldn't match up with them. What perplexes me though is how some of these, how the Missouris and the Kentuckys and them played. Georgia Tech even played them kind of tough. So I don't. It's a hard thing when you're that good and you can just totally dominate a team like that. You wonder why. Here's what makes this exercise challenging. You're wondering, well, why doesn't Georgia do that every game? How can they go out and kill these teams like that? And then other games, life and death with Missouri and, struggling with Kent State and all that. I don't know. I guess that's what makes this exercise so interesting. But it is sort of perplexing because when they are on their A game, nobody was able to touch them.
And what I have tried to chalk it up to, Bruce, is this Georgia team this year, even more so maybe than last year, probably the best big game team we've seen in recent memory, and Stetson Bennett as a big game quarterback. Just unbelievable whenever he was asked to sort of lead that team in some of their biggest and toughest matchups of the year.
I agree, and I mean, we'll see. I mean, listen, the NFL makes mistakes on these guys all the time. The best rookie quarterback in the league this year is the guy picked last in the draft.
Yep.
And that's how Brady, Russell Wilson, you just go down the list. I think Bennett, people forget you have to sort of know how to play football too.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a sense for the game. He has a feel for it. And a lot of these quarterbacks, the ones, you tell me Will Levis and Richardson are first-round picks and Bennett's maybe not picked at all. I mean, what are they looking at? I mean, the guy knows how to play. He's smart. He makes the plays. I think that, there's room for guys like that in the NFL. Brock Purdy is proving that's for sure.
Guys, I think I'm there, though, with Stetson Bennett potentially being a draft pick, late day 3. With 6th or 7th round, I think I'm almost there. And obviously the pre-draft process tells us a lot about where he will ultimately be. I certainly think he'll get a chance to hold a clipboard, whether an undrafted free agent or at the lowest. But I have sort of gotten to the point where I think that a team would be willing to take a flyer as far as using a draft pick on him.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some other. Listen, I think. I mean, there's the McCarron never quite stuck, and some of the Alabama guys, McElroy and them. This guy, I think, can stick. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but there's something there about him. He seems to be. There's room for a smart, heady quarterback in the NFL, and I think somewhere he's going to fit. I don't know if he's going to be a star, but again, I go back to Brock Purdy. I mean, there's room for guys, and all you need is one team to think you're the right fit, and things good can happen. So I'm expecting something good might happen for Bennett.
Bruce, on the college football front, are there any way too early polls you look at? Do you do one? Do you try to compile one way too early?
Sometimes. I haven't yet. I did see the ESPN poll the other day, and as a bit surprised, it's the same sorts of teams are in there. They did put Florida State at 4.
Yep.
And so Mike Norvell, I mean, this is a feather at his cap. Now we'll see how they can deliver. But that's the one that was sort of the stunner for me. to have them in there. But
is it a rule Notre Dame and Texas have to be in all of them?
Yeah, it is. Yep. And I do think, Notre Dame won the lottery in the portal with Sam Hartman going there. I mean, you've got, a real. He could win the Heisman there next year. So I think that's.
Well, they hadn't won one there since '87. They hadn't won a national championship since '88. Right. Tim Brown in '87, Lou's team in '88 win it all. And for Notre Dame fans, look, everybody's got to enjoy winning, but for Notre Dame fans to be derisively chanting SEC after that big Gator Bowl win over South Carolina, come on, y'all hadn't scratched in a while.
Yeah, I know, and when that shows you they're getting excited to beat South Carolina like that, and that was not an easy win for them. But Hartman is good, and I thought he might have been the best quarterback available out there. One other one, by the way. Jeff Sims ended up at Nebraska from Georgia Tech. Gosh, we'll see how that works out. Hey. I would have thought he would have landed somewhere in the SEC. I'm surprised Jimbo didn't pull him in, or Florida or somebody. I mean, I think he's going to be really good. Good for Matt Rule to get Sims, because I thought he was going to be. I think he could be a real difference maker in a better spot next year.
When I saw that move, and I'm glad you bring that one up, all I could think about was P.J. Walker at Temple. That's what I thought. Very similar skill sets between those guys, and Matt Rule had that Temple team playing at a really high level.
Yeah, he did. I think Sims is going to be good. Now we'll see if Rule can put the rest of the team around him. But that was a really good get for Rule. And you're right. A lot like Walker, and I think it wasn't because of Sims Georgia Tech wasn't winning the last couple of years. He was the best thing they had going.
One last thing before we hop into Wild Card Weekend. Along the TCU lines, Garrett Riley gets taken away by Clemson. I think people were ready to count Clemson at least a little bit out of the national championship conversation if they didn't make a move like that. But it looks like Dabo went and got Garrett Riley on the offensive side of the ball, and he brought in Jeff Scott, who was really good for him back in the day in a personnel position. Do you think that this sort of puts them very, very primary in that conversation?
Yeah, it does, but I think this is the first time in a few years Dabo's got to worry about Florida State, because it looks like Norvell's. He sort of had it his own way, and they're mixing up the ACC. I think they're getting rid of the divisions next year. But since it's no coincidence that when Clemson really started to take off, 5-6 years ago, that's right when Florida State started to dip, and Jimbo was still there when they started to dip. But they sort of had their way. But Florida State's the one side that could make things, could change things for Clemson a little bit. So we got to keep an eye on that too.
Now, general question before we get into the games: when we talk about matchups and what things you hold dear when you're looking at sort of winner go home situations in the NFL playoffs, what are those things that you hold dear that you make plays based off of?
Well, this sounds cliche-ish, but I just do every game as its own, and I just sort of keep the same parameters there. But being me, and you guys know me, and I keep thinking back. I'm trying, and it's inadvertent that I'm trying to fit what I've seen in the past into now, and I try to look for examples. What happened before? Things that remind me of now. The one that jumps out at me this year is how much Jacksonville reminds me of Cincinnati last year. And you look at it, a downtrodden for a few years, really bad. A first-pick quarterback who struggles for a while, but then all of a sudden, midway through his second year, things start to fit, and everything suddenly starts to fit.
Yep.
Jacksonville reminds me a bit of Cincinnati last year. Now, if they beat the Chargers, we'll talk about that in a second, they'd likely get the Chiefs next week. I'm telling you, Jacksonville's a team I would really, really watch here. I think they are a lot like Cincinnati last year, and that's the one analogy I'm sort of making in the playoffs as they get ready to kick off.
Let's start with tomorrow's games, 3:30 on Fox. 49ers 9-point favorite in Santa Clara against Seattle.
Yeah, Brett. We've seen in the last, since they went to 7 2 years ago, most of these 7 seeds have really been sort of outclassed. And that, we had seen 6 seeds. Well, Green Bay won the Super Bowl out of a 6 about a decade ago. The 7 seeds. Last year it was Pittsburgh, and they were outclassed against Kansas City. Philadelphia, it was a year too soon. They were outclassed against Tampa Bay. 2 years ago, the Bears in the NFC were outclassed. They shouldn't have been there. Indy with Rivers put up a pretty good fight against Buffalo. But I think the 7 seeds are a little bit too far removed to expect them to do anything serious. And I think Seattle fits right into that. They've gotten as far as they can go. Detroit probably should have been in there, but Seattle wins the tiebreaker versus Detroit. They did not close the season that fast. They did win those last 2 games at home. Didn't look too great against the Rams. They haven't been scoring a lot of points lately. The offense hasn't scored more than 19 the last 4 games. They got a defensive touchdown there against the Jets, I believe. But they've only covered 1 of their last 7 games. They only scored 1 TD offensively against the 49ers this year in 2 games. They're outmatched here. And listen, now that Debo's back for San Francisco and McCaffrey's fully acclimated to the playbook, and so is Brock Purdy now, and it's the best defense in the league. Seattle's in big trouble in this game. I don't see them staying close. 28-10 score forecast for San Francisco.
And I do think your point's very astute when you talk about the Seahawks winning that tiebreaker over the Lions. That was a Week 4 game. We know that the Lions down the stretch of the season were a completely different team. I know that the tiebreaker's the tiebreaker, and you can't change that. But 48-45 in Week 4 with a team that went 6-1 down the stretch kind of stinks. It also won that game going away against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. That Lions team certainly had some juice, and I would have liked to see them in this position. But, hey, it is what it is. Now, that night game tomorrow night, Chargers-Jaguars, seems like based on your tone with the Jaguars, you're a big fan here of the underdog.
I am, and I'll tell you another reason why I like them here. I like Doug Peterson against Brandon Staley. And I almost think for the good of the Chargers, for the next few years, with Herbert in the saddle, they need to lose that game tomorrow night, and they need to fire Staley and get Sean Payton in there. They're fooling around with this guy. I have watched him. He makes some of the most strange moves. He's a hindrance to them, I think. Playing the starters deep into that game last week. Mike Williams got hurt, and he is not going to play in this game tomorrow. And there was absolutely no reason to play him in the game. Joey Bosa got knocked out of the game, got hurt. He's going to probably play tomorrow, but there was no reason to be playing those guys last week with nothing to gain. And that's another reason why I think Staley's just clueless. And his game management, Herbert bails him out. Jacksonville did throttle these guys. It was back in September, so I'm not sure how much that means. But they have been playing much better down the stretch. And, oh, by the way, Trevor didn't play that great last week, but he's had a good month before that. He's played in a lot of big games. Clemson was in every year big games, so that's not going to faze him. But I love the Peterson matchup against Staley. Herbert's a lot better than the quarterbacks Jacksonville's been beaten up the last month. But that defense is forcing turnovers, 11 of them in the last 5 games. Pick sixes, scooping scores. They beat the Titans on a defensive TD last week. I think Jacksonville gets them 27-22. Let's see if my Cincinnati analogy works from last year.
Quick sidebar before we move down the rest of this slate. Do you think that Sean Payton would take that Chargers job?
Yep, I do. He's living in Southern California now. I've heard that's the one he really wants, but because he wants to coach Herbert, but he's not. If it doesn't happen, maybe he would go to Arizona. He wants to stay out in the West now, apparently, and I don't think he'd want to go to Denver. So his choices now, I think, would be Arizona, but he's waiting to see what goes with the Chargers because I think that's the one he really wants.
Sunday at noon, the emotion will be high and the point spread's high. Buffalo 13.5 over the Dolphins. The Dolphins without Tua Tagovailoa, he may be finished. Big favorite for Buffalo, 13-3 over the 9-8 Dolphins.
Yeah, and by the way, this is my new prediction where Brady ends up next year for a year in Miami because I'm not sure it's there or the Raiders. Okay. And I think that might be where he ends up. But the Miami fits what I said a minute ago about Seattle and the 7th seed. Right now, I don't think they're, especially without Tua in there, even with him, I'm not sure it would have mattered much. But, they haven't played really well since the first month of the season. Now, they did beat Buffalo back in September, and they almost beat them a few weeks ago up in Orchard Park. Their best game, I think they played in the second half of the season. So maybe there's something about the matchup. But Tua played in both those games. If it's Bridgewater or the Skylar Thompson, you're just not going to have much chance. Buffalo, a lot of emotion. We know all the stuff. There's a chance Hamlin might show up at the stadium there. It's a feel-good story.
Sweet.
And I just don't see. No, I'm not sure Buffalo is hitting on all cylinders, really, even though they beat the Patriots last week. A couple of kickoff returns and all. I think they'll lose down the road in the playoffs here, but not Sunday. So 31-13 Buffalo.
So a sneaky game in the mid-afternoon on Sunday, Giants and Vikings. Vikings at home, 3-point favorites. I'm curious what you think about the spread, but also what do you think about the total? Do you think an under is potentially in play with what the Giants like to do? They run the ball a fair amount, and they do a good job defensively.
Well, yeah, they do. But this matchup, they went 51 when they played a few weeks ago, and I'm kind of thinking it might be over. But I think the Giants are worth a look. Now, Minnesota, listen, I know that we've talked about them this year. That's their pattern. They win these games close. But you're 13-4, and you've got a negative scoring differential. Yep. I mean, something's up. I mean, they fly so close to the flame, so much. You just can't keep pulling games out like that. This defense is not great. The Giants lost that game right at a 61-yard field goal, at the end against the Vikings a few weeks ago. Saquon is healthy. Daniel Jones is a real quarterback now. And I was not on his bandwagon at all. I thought they had to cut their losses coming into the season. I thought this is it for Jones. He delivered. And maybe it was Dable. I'm not sure. But he's a different quarterback. He's the real deal. And he can run, and they do many things. And the game's got to be close. So I'd rather have the 3 and take my chances the Giants actually win it. And they have won some close games this year. I think the Giants beat them. 29-24 our score forecast. Minnesota's I don't want to say a fraud. I'll just say they are very, very vulnerable for a 13-14.
Straight up Giants over Minnesota all time. The Giants 2-1 in the playoffs against Minnesota. So you have the Giants winning straight up there. It could be Tom Brady's last game ever. It feels like it's definitely his last game ever. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped Ravens-Bengals. I'm sorry, Gabe. Monday Night Football's yours. Ravens-Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Bengals minus 8.5 over Baltimore.
Yeah, Lamar, it looks like he's out now. If I'm John Harbaugh, I almost go with Anthony Brown instead of Huntley. Huntley has not looked good. Brown didn't look that bad. They have enough defense to make Cincinnati sweat a bit. But I think Cincinnati's probably the best team in the AFC. I think they were the one team shortchanged a bit by the schedule. They had to do what they did with the schedule in the playoffs after the Monday night game against the Bills. But I think they were on their way to beating Buffalo, if I can say that. And that would have given them the edge on the Bills, and they would have played that game next week at home against Buffalo. I guess they got to go up there now. I think that has gotten Cincinnati mad, and rightfully so. I mean, they're the one team that didn't get a break in this. And
defending champs of the AFC.
Yeah, defending champs. And listen, since mid-December last year, they won that game at Denver, turned everything around. They're 20-3 against the number into last week. A lot of people covered with the Bengals last week until right at the end that number started to gyrate wildly when the news that Brown was going to be at quarterback. But they've been point spread gold. I don't think Baltimore's defense is fine, especially with Roquan Smith. The offense is not, and I'm not sure if Jackson was there, it made any difference. Their last 3 playoff exits have been very much the same. The passing game, it was always Jackson, but the passing game just wasn't up to it. That won't change if it's Huntley or Anthony Brown. They're not going to win this game. 26-14, Cincinnati.
Now, Monday, the NFL knows what they're doing. This game, I want to see the ratings by the time it's all said and done. But I will say this. This show, Sports Time, with Gabe and Stats, these are our Cowboys. And they're going on the road, favored by 2.5 points. I know the public's betting the Bucs really heavily. Tell me something good here, Bruce. What do you think about this game?
Tampa Bay is not that good. They weren't 8-9 by accident. And they miss. I think they miss Bruce Arians a lot and his creative energy. Brady has missed Gronk all year, especially in the red zone. They have taken too many injuries, especially the offensive front. They just aren't that good. So this would be Dallas being worse than Tampa Bay. I think, though, that is possible because the way they looked last week, Dak, his mind isn't there, and he's had 7 straight games with a pick. And not just that, he's got pick sixes the last 3 of the last 4 games. He just doesn't look dialed in. I will predict if they lose this game, Jerry's going to move on from McCarthy. He did not hire him to go out and lose first-round playoff games. Jerry, I think, has got an inflated opinion of this roster in his mind, but it's his team. If they lay another egg in the first round, I think that's it for McCarthy. I have no confidence in Dak. I don't want to reduce this to Dak versus Brady, but we've seen these guys too often in the playoffs before, and Dak has never upped his game in a big game or in the playoffs. And Brady has. So 21-19 Tampa Bay. I think the total under. I think the total in the mid-40s is too high. So under actually might be my first pick in that game.
Now, last quick thing. I know we're going to have our eyes very closely on Super Wildcard Weekend, but is there anything else off the beaten path that we should give a look?
In basketball?
Yeah, basketball, NBA, whatever it may be.
Sure. Well, there's a couple this week. By the way, Kentucky, I think it's 10, 11 straight point spread L's. They aren't that good. There's some, we'll see about these rumors about Coach Cal to Texas. They might be dumb enough to pay him $15 million a year. But something's cooking. Kentucky's not that good. Tennessee, I think, might be able to get them tomorrow. Sunday, watch this Marquette-Xavier game. Marquette, at times, I think, is the best team I've seen all year. This is the best Shaka team I've ever seen. They can run the offense through Cole at the point guard or Iguodala at the high post. Cam Jones looks like Dwayne Wade coming. The game against Xavier is good, too. Great game. I think Marquette probably gets there, but maybe an over in that one. And St. John's is going to play UConn tough. UConn, I don't want to say the ship has sailed, but they're still overrating UConn, and they're losing games now, not just losing point spread decisions. St. John's won the other night, nice against Butler, and I think they stayed. It'll probably be 12, 13-point spread, I think, St. John's. This is a Sunday game early, as is the Marquette game.
Good deal. Where do we find more of you?
Yeah, thanks. Check us online, goldsheet.com. We got all these football games written up, and then basketball every single day. And then we'll get the division round up there next Tuesday. Goldsheet.com, my picks there. Also Vegas Insider and OnBest.com.
Perfect. Great stuff as always. You have a good weekend, Bruce.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet with us with all the picks. And Bruce Marshall and Alan Bell agreed on San Francisco, Jacksonville, and Cincinnati. We'll see if we'll have the mega group lock coming up in about an hour when we do our picks. We have our First National Bank Friday football forecast. But now it's time for our Gould Salon Spa style segment. GouldSalonSpa.com is the place to go for those gift cards for any holidays. I know so many enjoyed the big December holidays, Christmas, and all that went with that with the Gould's gift card. And coming up soon, Valentine's, perfect place, perfect color, always the right size for male, for female, for young, for old, older alike, old like me if you need it. One of those great Gould's massages for old people like me, it's perfect. Go to GouldSalonSpa.com for the gift cards, all the locations at Gould's from downtown to out east, all points in between, part of the renaissance of Overton Square, that great location there. Gould Salon and Spa. They've been turning heads now for 91 years, since 1932. Mr. Sam Gould, he had a dream to provide his clientele with a truly professional and unique fashion experience, and it's been realized as a family affair with sons and grandsons and granddaughters and all those valuable associates to build it into today's juggernaut. And for the Valentine's holiday season, that Gould's gift card's the perfect gift. Go to GouldSalonSpa.com. Exclusive to our area, the best holiday gift for any season is a Gould's gift card. Got to give it to the Georgia Bulldogs. They did it with style, 15-0. And breaking news, they just scored again.
They might have. Now, I know it's 2 weeks in a row that I'm going to give my Gould style to the same person, but I think it's apropos. I think it's a really good thing. Damar Hamlin getting out of the hospital. He'll likely be in attendance when we see that game played at noon on Sunday against the Dolphins, to see the recovery he's made, to see everyone rally around him, and also everyone on the same page in trying to rally around Damar Hamlin. I think this has been a really feel-good story and one of the best stories early here in 2023.
The country needed this. And we in the country has embraced and enjoyed this. How could you not, from that devastation to now to this? And Gabe, on when we were doing the last show of the year, come December 31,
still
this is the story of the year.
Yep, I don't doubt that. I think you're correct there. Now let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we switch gears a tad bit. We talk some SEC, some Razorbacks, football, basketball with our guy from ESPN Arkansas, Ty Richardson.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Willotion here for Homer Skelton Hyundai. I love to brag about my friends right at the corner of Highway 78, Lamar, and the first exit in Mississippi, Craft Road. They always come up with some innovative program that makes you want to just go out and get your brand new car. And I'm talking Hyundais. Right now, you can get a new Santa Fe. You can get a new Tucson. You can get any brand new Hyundai. State-of-the-art technology. You can get that without paying for 3 months. You've heard me correctly. You can get a brand new Hyundai and not pay for 90 days. This just started. It's going all the way through January. You could say a Christmas present, a holiday present from Homer Skelton Hyundai. Again, make your deal and then don't worry for 90 days about paying the very first payment, and only at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Corky's Barbecue. Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. We have been helping Memphians with their celebrations for more than 38 years. Whether you're picking up one of our party packs to serve yourself or booking one of our private dining rooms at our Cordova location or our Olive Branch location, Corky's has you covered. We make it easy for you to impress your guests for company parties, sports banquets, or reunions. Corky's has been trusted year after year for all of your party needs. Call today and reserve your private party room before your date is booked. Flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
It's time to get your Kia on at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And Bobby J is ready to put you in a new Kia today. You ready for a road trip? How about 41 MPG Highway and your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS? $254 a month, 36-month lease, $27.99 due at signing. Or rock out in your new 2023 Kia Soul. Only $272 a month, 36-month lease, $27.99 due at signing. And if we don't have what you want, not a problem. Let Bobby J order a new ride for you today, and you won't pay over MSRP. Plus, you always get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today at Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Forte LXS PE 573573, MSRP 21335, sold P78999335, MSRP 21835. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2023. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Every year, first responders are injured or killed by vehicle strikes while responding to emergency calls. When you see police, fire, or ambulance, slow down, yield, and move over. Faster response times can help save a life, including your own. Move over, Memphis. It's the law.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
I think this is the best chicken I ever had.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Always great to catch up with Ty Richardson, co-host of the Morning Rush, 6 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday at Hit That Line Arkansas, ESPN Arkansas. You can find him on Twitter at Ty Sports Radio, and he joins us every time on Friday in this time slot. Ty, what's happening, man? How are you?
Hey, Gabe. Stats, I'm good. Stats, you got some big news today, didn't you, man?
Yeah.
Got some good news today for Ole Miss. We did with Pete Golding, and definitely needed Pete as the recruiter, and also not anything schematically is going to change. He's going to come in and run a 3-4-2, but there were so many people mad over the Partridge 3-4 this year. Maybe the Golding 3-4 will be Golden.
I know that he's joked about on recruiting visits when he got asked, hey, so Pete, what is your coach, what is your kind of thing for recruiting? He goes, I coach for the goat. I think he might have to change that up just a little bit. No offense to Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, about anybody can sell that Bama brand.
Yeah, it's a little not that Oxford's not a happening place, but it's a little different when you're coaching for a guy like Nick Saban than Lane Kiffin, just a little bit.
And it feels like Jeremy Pruitt may be on his way back into the conference, huh?
That's what I'm seeing today. I don't even know, what is he doing right now, Gabe?
He's with the Giants in an analyst role.
Okay,
So
that's news.
there's
to me.
that.
Okay,
But hey, he can coach defense though, as long as they can avoid all the NCAA stuff and sort of find a way to get him in there and not get too many barbs thrown their way. I think they'll be all right.
Doesn't a lot go back to Bama? Brian Daboll and the Giants, and even before that, Joe Judge, back to his analyst days in Tuscaloosa, Jeremy Pruitt, Lane Kiffin, Pete Golding, the imprint on college football, Kirby Smart, out of the Alabama building is something. Ty, do you think the mantle's been passed to Georgia? Are they the kings of college football?
I sure was watching Nick Saban sit next to David Pollock when he said that, and Saban didn't look too enthused. I mean, they've won back-to-back, but we were saying the same thing about Clemson a couple years ago. And you can say, well, Ty, they're doing it at the SEC and this and that. I mean, let's just be real. Kirby's beaten it once. And that was without Jamison Williams, John
They were 1-1 against each other last year. That's right.
But what do you think about the David Pollock comment with Nick Saban up there? Yeah, any problems with that?
He's a Georgia alum, man. He knows where his field's watered. He's smart to say that. And he didn't say it in a disrespectful way to Nick. He's not like, well, he didn't look at Nick and say Kirby's taking over college football like directly in the eye. He just made an honest statement. But again, he's got a little homer in him. I think that my whole thing is I want to see Kirby Smart and company do it against Bama again. If they beat Nick Saban again, either in the SEC championship or the college football playoff or national championship, I will give him that mantle. But when you're 1-4, 1-3, or 1-5 against Nick Saban, I'm still not ready to relinquish that just yet.
Yeah, I think that's really good analysis. I want you guys to watch this. We're not going to see quite as much now that college football's over, but we do see it on some of the panel shows on SEC Network. Here's my premise. It's just pure supposition. I want y'all to watch and see if there's any confirmation by y'all out there. I think the SEC Network and ESPN college football and even college basketball coverage, I think they have just completely eschewed any, be down the middle. No, don't show any partiality. If you're Todd Blackledge and you went to Penn State, you can't show it. I don't think they even try that anymore. I have noticed Chris Doering. I mean, just unadulterated flag waiver for the Gators. Roman Harper on the sideline at the Iron Bowl like he was for Alabama. You mentioned David Pollock. And it's more the former players, not necessarily Reese and his Alabama connection, but watch Peter Burns and LSU. He doesn't even fake it anymore.
Yeah, Brett, I would tend to agree with you, man. It seems like even the studio guys, like you're saying, they, with the exception of Reese Davis, I think is really impartial on every topic. They lean into it a little bit, and I think there's positives and negatives to that. My whole thing is like I can never be completely unbiased or partial about Arkansas. That's the university I went to. It's where I spent my money and where I've had some of the greatest times of my entire life, and I'm open about that. And there's benefits and there's pros, but there's also cons. I think this idea, and gets to like the journalistic question, which that's another conversation for another day. I think that they're more willing now more than ever to be open that they are fans still to this day, where back in the day they at least pretended to hide it a little bit.
Yeah, the issue that arises with that, because I'm never not going to be partial to the University of Memphis because of my tie there, but when you can't call a spade, that becomes the issue.
Yep.
If you're covering a team. If somebody, a football coach, an AD is terrible, you're supposed to still say that AD, football coach, whoever, basketball coach is terrible. You have to be able to at least keep some type of partiality or keep some type of objectiveness. You have to be able to say what's happening and what's going on.
That's the word. I think the objectivity is getting lost, Ty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I would agree with both of those points, guys. And Gabe, to your point, I always want to be known. I don't want to be known as a homer. I don't want to be known as negative. I just want to be known as a guy that tells you what he thinks. You with Memphis, Brett, you with Arkansas and Ole Miss, me with Arkansas and other programs. I think the objectivity is, like, people are just so skewed on their lens. And Tim Tebow's the same way with the Gators too, Brett. I mean, and
he sure is.
That's pretty evident, but I think nowadays they're just afraid. They're afraid of backlash from their fan base there, because the fan base, which they wouldn't do, but they're like, you betrayed us, you did. And it's like, no, I'm just telling you what I think. Like, no one wants to hear positive rainbow sunshine all the time when stuff is wrong.
Yeah,
stuff
again,
is bad.
Here's my pure supposition on it. You're right about that. And I think they saw how Greg McElroy got all but exiled, banished from the Bama partisans out there in the Twitter mob.
But that's why Greg is so appreciated. Like, I love listening to Greg McElroy on WJOX, and then when he talks, when he's the color commentator in the game, I think even Bama games, I think he does a great job. And he's like, look, Alabama's having this issue. He's not saying we. He's not saying us, stuff like that. I think he does a great job, and I think Kurt, to a certain extent, does a good job with Ohio State and really college football. That's
and he got scalded, had to move from up there.
Yeah, it's difficult to do, Brett. I commend them both for being able to handle that.
Mm-hmm. Now let's move on to some Arkansas basketball. At home, Bud Walton was rocking, but the final score was still 15. Bama, I think, has put themselves. Bama and Tennessee have both put themselves to the top of the SEC. But what's the outlook on Arkansas right this second? Do you is there a little bit of hope lost in that fan base? What do you think about that team?
Got to win in Nashville tomorrow. I know Memorial Gymnasium's a weird place to play, but this is the team that should win against the Commodores. You mentioned Tennessee and Alabama. I've got a chance to watch Alabama not just on Wednesday Night Live, but Brandon Miller and Clowney, those are two first-rounders. Miller's probably a lottery pick. You got Tennessee on the other side. They do it the different way. They got Ziegler. They got Vescovy. They got the older guys, and then an occasional 4 or 5-star here and there. But I cannot wait to see those two teams play in Knoxville. I think it's February the 15th or 12th coming up. That is going to be an electric atmosphere, an electric game.
Ty, I think you will appreciate and understand this. The sign in Rupp Arena the other night about Cal, head on to Texas, whatever it said on the sign, and that fan's dismissal, that will stay with Calipari, and it's as damaging as the airplane flying over to fire Houston Nutt was.
If I'm Cal, there's a way to exit and get out before it blows up. And maybe that's
Hold it,
just
but you're talking grace and tact from someone that has none in his body.
Yeah, and that's true. Was it John Chaney years ago, Brett, that almost kicked it? You know what? The old Temple
threatened
coach.
to kill him.
Yeah, I wish that. Not kill him, but I wish he would have beaten him up. That would have been quite a scene. But I think the deal with Cal is, and there's no love lost right now on Memphis Sports Talk Radio with John Calipari, but the deal with him is you've had so many different players that have come to Kentucky the last decade or so. It was Kentucky, Duke, or North Carolina. The rest of the league caught up. Nate Oates got him a couple 5-star players. Arkansas had the number 2 class in the country this past year, number 4 class 2 years ago. You've got these SEC programs that are having top-tier classes, and Cal and Kentucky was so used to being the only one. Now that it's changed, he hasn't caught up yet with, or at least adjusted to the talent that he's having to face week in, week out.
Well, Ty, it feels like he's tried to adjust, but he got away from what got him to this point in the first place, which is recruiting at a high level, the class he has next year with the number 2, 6, or 1, 2, 6, and 9 players in the country, right? That's what has gotten him to this point, and it feels like he tried to do the whole roster building thing, and that's not him. Just not him at all.
Yeah, you got Oscar Sheboy, you got Severe Wheeler.
Bring in Antonio Reeves as a transfer. I mean, he's got an older team, and it's just not what he does well, it feels like.
What's crazy is to think they haven't had an NCAA tournament win in 4 years. I know they were the 2 seed last year, but thank goodness for the guy with Doug Eater, or I think his name Doug Eater, and the rest of that squad, because that was beautiful to watch them take down Kentucky. He's in a tough spot right now. They might get annihilated tomorrow in Knoxville. That might be a 20-point game, fellas.
Let's hope. That's at 11 o'clock in the morning. In the trophy case, the ultimate national championship trophy case at Kentucky, he's got the same trophies as Joe Hall, Tubby Smith, and Rick Pitino, and I don't think anybody is trying to make him out to be a better coach than Rick Pitino as a floor coach.
No, Pitino was a tactician, and Arkansas fans know that all too well based on those battles back in the day. And there's still a stigma and a stench with Cal with certain things, and not to say there isn't with Pitino too, but no, I think those guys that you just listed, that's different classes in Kentucky basketball coaching lore for sure, and then of course Rupp on top.
And real quick before we let you roll, Memphis. The Tigers football program just landed Simeon Blair, the safety from Arkansas. What can you tell us about him? Starter, captain last year?
Yeah, I think so. Simeon's a leader. I'm going to be nice at first and then give you the facts.
Yeah, right.
He's a leader. He's an Arkansas kid, went to Pine Bluff, if I remember that right. Started his career, I believe, as a walk-on and kind of worked his way up. He's a well-spoken young man. He's for all intents and purposes, he's like a likable kid. He's better at run support, but you guys are going to hate him in passing situations next year. He had one of the worst pass defending ratings in all of college football last season as a starter. So just brace yourself, because there's going to be some irritation when it comes to passing down.
Very much a box safety is what I'm hearing. Very much a box safety.
Yeah, there were definitely some Simeon Blair remarks following certain pass places last season.
I hear you, Ty. I hear you. But great stuff as always, man. Thank you and have a good weekend.
Hey, y'all too. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Ty.
He is Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas. You can find him on Twitter at Ty Sports Radio. That was I like that though. Tell us the good with the bad when it comes to Simeon Blair. Did have a lot of starts there, but hey,
that's what we want.
Hey, box safety. There's needs for that. There's needs for that at the college level.
We want what people see and what people believe. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel, and I believe this: football fans, call your own plays during the NFL playoffs with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because when you bet NFL same game parlays from now through June 16th, all customers can get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose. All you have to do is place a total of $20 or more on NFL SGP or SGP Plus bets during the wild card round. The more you bet, the more you'll get back in free bets at FanDuel. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a larger payday, like Daniel Jones over passing yards, Darius Slayton anytime touchdown, or Saquon Barkley running back over his number of receptions. Build your own or choose from one of the popular SGPs pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. If you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, you can also get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose, when signing up with promo code SPORTS56. That's promo code SPORTS56. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets. Expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $100. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
But grand scheme of what I'm hearing from Ty about Simeon Blair, it feels like he's a guy who can come up and run support and certainly make a lot of tackles. And considering who he's going to need to replace, that production they need to replace in Quindell Johnson, I think Quindell Johnson was really good in that secondary as far as covering was concerned. But to be able to replace a guy who had 53 tackles, 104 tackles in 2021, certainly that seems like a guy who could be able to at least replace the run support production. So we'll see. We'll see. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, right before we bring on Jason Munz at 5 o'clock, we got to cover the Tiger basketball metrics. They're not as bad as you'd think after taking that loss against UCF the other night. We'll be right back. Sports 56, 98.5.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings & Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings & Grill is family-friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings & Grill.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund is belong to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax-confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Save up to 80% when you file with TaxSlayer. Start for free.
We told you this was going to happen, and now it has. The floor model sale is happening at Family Leisure, lowest prices of the year. On pool tables, on those wonderful spas, on patio furniture, state-of-the-art, and of course the game tables. Floor model arcades are now starting at $1,200. It's your last chance for a 2022 pool. And floor model trampolines are only $2,100. That's the installed price. Family Leisure, I-40 and Wooden Road, where family and fun come together. I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
It's time to discover new roads in the new year at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get ready to blaze new trails in the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. We Gossett at $359 a month or buy for just $26,350. Get 29 MPG Highway. Or get ready to take your pick from 2022 Outlander or 2023 Eclipse Cross for just $399 per month. And you'll always get peace of mind in your new ride with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $359 per month. 2022 Outlander or 2023 Eclipse Cross, $399 per month. You won't go wrong ever when you shop Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Sport PU 00100 MSRP 27100 Outlander NZO 84912 MSRP 32250 Eclipse PC 04373 MSRP 33335 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Bon appetit.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Papa was a Rolling Stone, but now I got Rolling Stones in the bezel. Ice. Mama at home all alone, hustling, trying to keep
Rolling right along. Right here on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe Kuhn. He's Brett Stats Norsworthy. Now, after that loss the other night, a lot of panic alarms being pressed throughout the fan base, throughout the media in this city when it comes to the Tiger basketball team. But you look around the country, you look at some of the metrics, it's not as bad as you thought it would be. Now, previous to that loss, the Tigers were at 59 in the net. As of today, because of what's happened around the country, they sit at 50th. So they've gone up 9 spots. And in KenPom, they're right where they were at 36. They were 36 before that game. They're 36 after. Adjusted offense, 41. Adjusted defense, 42.
It's not that bad. Imagine a win, but it's not that bad.
Yes. Now, when you look at some of the bracketologists that we follow, and we follow a good four, Joe Lenardi, Dave Amon from Bracket Guy Dave, Jerry Palm, and then our guy Shelby Mast from who's the official bracketologist of USA.
I don't
Today.
think Shelby watched the other night's game.
Shelby kept him. He still has them. Still has them as a 7 seed. Still has him right up there as a 7 seed.
Make sure Shelby's upright. I don't think he watched Wednesday night's play.
Now, I will say Joe Lenardi and Dave Amon both have the Tigers as part of their last 4 in, and they both have them in play-in games as a number 11 seed. Yeah. The only bracketologist we have seen that has dropped them out of the field completely is Jerry Palm at this moment, but he has them as part of his first 4 out. He's second. They're third, I should say, in his first 4 out. So grand scheme of things, I said this the other day and I stick by it.
Can't lose Sunday.
It's not a good loss to take on the road. It's not the greatest thing to have that loss and be at 2-2 right now in conference if you're the Tigers, but it doesn't end your tournament chances. It just complicates them. But it starts on the road.
What, Gabe? You know why it doesn't end their chances?
Will just water find its level? And there's 68 teams.
68 teams in that bracket. But we will do Tiger bankroll offline because of Sunday's game. There's no line yet. Brian is 12-5 this year picking Tiger games. With or again, whatever, 12-5. He's at 14-15. Gabe, you're 8-9. You're at 750. I'm 6-11. I'm at 150. Bryant and I got the wins the other night. Gabe took the heartbreaking loss. That was a narrow line to lose by and all that with overtimes. That's a tough loss, Gabe.
Yeah, it was. But you don't care. You're fine with me
I
taking
do
that
care,
loss.
Gabe.
Oh, stop.
I got big shoulders.
Oh, stop.
Brian, we care, don't we, Brian?
We care very much.
You guys are funny. But anyways, on Sunday, this is going to be it's a must-win game. 2 o'clock ESPN2 versus Temple. And there is some things that they're going to have
2 o'clock or 1 o'clock?
I saw 2 o'clock. I saw 2 o'clock.
Where is my schedule? Okay.
I saw 2 o'clock. Bryant, do you have any?
I see 2 o'clock.
Yeah, 2 o'clock, ESPN2.
Thank you.
I also thought it was 1 o'clock for some reason, though, too, Brett, so don't feel alone.
I really did. I saw one somewhere there. Did I see it on the ESPN app today?
Maybe. I might have been one of those Gabe. Eastern things. That one makes sense. I don't know where we saw it.
But in Philly, Temple 4-1 in conference. Temple has been good in conference, but out of conference, they were pretty miserable. Lost to Ole Miss, lost to Maryland Eastern Shore, lost to Penn, lost to Richmond, lost to St. John's, lost to
Wagner.
Lost to Wagner with the first game of the year. So this team is sort of peaking at a good time here in conference.
That's not Milt Wagner.
But outside of what they've done in conference, their resume does not look good. It's been pretty bad in the grand scheme of things. This win does not necessarily help you in any way, shape, or form. Temple's net is not going to boost any type of resume, but it's just the next one on the schedule. The next 8, Brett, we talked about it yesterday. The next 8 are just the next one on your schedule. Games that you have to win. You have no choice at this point. 14-4 in conference is the sort of magic number we talked about before the season. I think you start to press it if you get to 5 or 6, certainly 6. But this 8-game run here is going to have to be full of W's. 7-1, 8-0, I think are within the realm of possibilities. But the response coming off that game the other night is going to be important for Kendrick Davis, for DeAndre Williams, for all of the players on this roster. Can you respond after getting your heart ripped out? We shall see on Sunday. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and we'll talk about all this on the other side with our guy Jason Munz.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. I'm often called Shell Done because I sell homes and work with buyers and I get the job done. There are 7 keys to successfully selling your home quickly at a great price. First, call me. I do my research and advise you on preparation, presentation, and proper pricing that gets you the activity to get the best price. Follow my advice and it can happen. I did mention 7 keys to a successful sale, didn't I? Well, if you use the first key, calling or emailing me, you really don't need the next 6 keys. Remember, that's Sheldon Rosengarten at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. If you don't need me now, write it down for later or for a friend. That's Sheldon at 483-0546 at memphisrelocate.com. Do it now, and who knows, you may hear your home advertised here. Remember, as bad a golfer as I am, when selling homes, Shell Done gets it done.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Forte PE 573, MSRP 21335, K5 LSX 00991 8857, MSRP 26805. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details. Hey, Jeff, my man, are you ready to almost give away some new Kias today to start the new year off right at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
You bet I am, Randy. How about 41 MPG Highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS, only $254 a month. 36-month lease, $27.99 due at sign.
Hey, Jeff, how about that new K5? That thing's awesome.
We got it at just $319 a month. 36-month lease, $31.99 due at signing. Plus, with all your new Kias, you know you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if you don't see exactly what you want, I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
I couldn't believe it either, but that thing runs like new.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
My nail tech knows how to keep it a little secret.
Third and final hour. Welcome in. Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe Kuhn. He's Brett Norsworthy. Brian Davis, of course, producing the program. With this last hour, hit us up. We're here. Watch us live. Message us on our social, Sports 56 WHBQ, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And hit us up on the listener line, 901-360-8255. We'll bring in Jason Munns now at Munsley on Twitter, Tiger basketball beat reporter for the hometown newspaper, The Commercial Appeal. Jason, let's get into important things first. How did you enjoy your wrestling outing? I mean, was it nice?
I was afraid, Jason. I almost needed one thing I always tell my friends when they go to Vegas: if you need a bail bondsman, call me.
I mean, listen, it did not start off very well. Honestly, like if you remember last week, I was proud of the sign that we had, my wife and I had made, and so proud that I got it confiscated within 60 seconds of the start of the show. Like it was quite alarming, honestly.
I was looking for it on TV, watching the SmackDown wrestling.
Did they give you any explanation for confiscation?
The most controversial sign of the week was at Rupp, second most at FedEx Forum.
Well, it wasn't necessarily the sign itself it wasn't what was on the sign that was controversial. It was just where the sign was on the television screen, because as it turned out, like they have like one camera that's on a huge crane that like sort of sticks out over the crowd and like near the ring when the wrestlers are coming out of the down the aisle, when they're coming out on that stage that I was sitting next to. And so Roman Reigns comes out to start the show. I turn around, put the sign up. They pan back on that big crane camera, and they can't exactly see Roman Reigns because there's a sign in the way.
There you go.
And so they ran up. Some guy ran up to me pretty quickly and was like, "Hey, give me that." And like,
did they give it back to you?
FedEx Forum official or associated with McMahon's people?
I don't think it was either. I think it was Fox, honestly.
I think it was
Fox.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was like a TV guy. That was my. He didn't tell me who he was with. He didn't stop to tell me that.
Did you ask for credentials?
Yeah, I know. I should have. I should have been like, "Well, who are you?" But
yeah, I mean.
But yeah, it was crazy. And no, I didn't get it back.
It's trash.
It is what it is. Although I do have like screen grabs of my ridiculous arms holding up this sign,
covering up Roman Reigns.
Yeah, the only thing is you can't see what's actually on the sign. You just see this big black poster board.
Were any other signs removed?
Not around us. I mean, like, and that's my thing. Like, that's on you guys. Y'all should have.
Yeah.
I think it's your job to screen the people who might have a sign that like would be in the line of sight of your stinking crane camera. So like, I didn't feel bad about it at all. Like, that was like, I was actually kind of proud of myself that I got it by whatever security measures were in place. But yeah, anyway, but like after that,
you're better off than the guy at Rupp that got tossed, though.
I know. I read that story. Did you see that the guy actually has now been identified? He's like a high school chemistry teacher or something like that. And he said he wasn't even there to start the game. He was at his house, which is nearby Rupp, and they come out and they're like getting like South Carolina's kind of beating the brakes off of him early. He made the decision right then and there to write that sign at home, and he got to the game at halftime. Halftime, and then was like summarily dismissed.
Well, I respect that he was 10 toes down with his sign. They said it's either you or the sign, and he said me. I'll take my sign with me.
Yeah,
you guys can bug off.
You're not taking that. You're not taking this from me. So I should have had that happened last week. I probably would have been emboldened to be like, you can kick me out of here, but you're not taking my sign.
Did Mrs. Munns protest, or did she go, "Oh no, I'm with this guy"? I mean,
no. She is a rule abider of the highest order. So she was not about to put up a fight. But after that, SmackDown was fantastic. I don't know if you guys watched.
Did you
or
participate
heard
in the whoop that trick, Chance?
I mean,
you had to, right?
Was I in the
Is
building?
the sky blue?
He had the wireless
mic. Do I have a pulse?
That's what I was going to ask you if you guys read about that or saw that part. But yeah, I don't know that I'll ever get another chance. Like, the only time I hear that is when I'm working, so I can't do it.
You can't join in.
Yeah, so
I've joined in a couple times with a credential on. It's all right, Jason.
well, no, yes.
No, I'm joking.
Yes,
I haven't.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I'm sad to hear about the sign, though, that it did not make it through. That's
now
tough
the night Whoop That Trick was born, I was in seats with my oldest nephew over a win over the Clippers, a great win over the Clippers, and building going crazy. It was born that night. And I lean over and it's so loud. I go, "What are they saying?" He goes, "I don't know, but join in."
Yeah, right. Figure it out. Just say something, anything.
Yeah.
Just be part of it.
All right, now Tigers lose a heartbreaker. I guess I'll start here. We'll talk about the metrics in a second. What do you think about their sort of resolve through this? Do you think they'll be able to respond, get back up off the mat, and feel comfortable going forward? Because
that was a toughie.
That was rough,
brutal.
It was a gut punch. Excruciating is the word that I used in the scouting report that published this morning. Kind of looking back at the game. I mean, it wouldn't. I don't even know that it would have been as bad had they not been up by double digits with 5 minutes left in the game against. And again, like not taking anything away from UCF. UCF's a good team. They came back. They earned it. It wasn't like Memphis necessarily gave it away. They just didn't take it. Memphis didn't. Like it was there for the taking, and they didn't do it. UCF did. So don't. Like, let's not take anything away from UCF, but yeah, like it's one of those types of games that has a chance to be super demoralizing because, of everything that went into it. It was an opportunity to get right with the bracketologists, and it was an opportunity. Like, UCF was down multiple starters, number one, and then Taylor Hendricks fouls out. Their best player fouls out late in regulation, I believe it was, and you still couldn't get the job done. Now, granted, Memphis is dealing with some issues of its own. No Jaden Hardaway, no Malcolm Dandridge. Alex Lomax had to leave the game in the first overtime with an injury. DeAndre Williams fouled out. Keontae Kennedy fouled out. So, there's a lot that went into some of the no call. I mean, I really don't like to talk about officials. refs or anything like or umpires or whatever, but like that was as clear a foul as you can get, honestly. And and the thing is it wasn't just a no call. It wasn't just that they ignored the foul. They it ended up resulting in a turnover that was critical. So it was a gut punch for sure. But like if there's ever been a Memphis team that has been built to be able to withstand these sorts of things, it's this one. They're old. They're confident. They're like that's kind of what you do this for. One of the reasons you build a team like this is so that they can weather storms like this, and they've done it before. They had the heartbreaker against Seton Hall in the last-second crazy, ridiculous buzzer beater. They come back and beat Nebraska and beat Stanford, and I think they won 6 games in a row after that loss. So, I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. Things are getting pretty dicey at this stage, but until proven otherwise, I still think this team has what it takes to get itself up off the mat, to use a wrestling, some wrestling analogies, and get back in the fight.
And it's funny, like going into that game, I think they were either 57th or 59th in the net. Their metrics got better. Their metrics are net they're 50. Ken Palm exactly the same at 36. It feels like from a metric perspective, they're sort of right where they were.
Yeah, Bart Torvik, I want to say, has them at 28. I don't know where they were in Torvik before, but even the bracketologies, Lunardi still has them in. Now their last 4 in, but they're in. Bracket guy Dave has them in, last 4 in. Shelby Mast, who does the bracketology for USA Today, still has Memphis in. Torvik,
Shelby's got him at 7.
He's got him comfortable.
I know.
I mean, Shelby's about a game or two away from Sweet 16 for him.
I know. That's taking that one with a little bit of a grain of salt, but still.
Me too. I even said earlier I need to text Shelby, and he's going to start joining us regularly after the Super Bowl. He always does. I wonder if he stayed up and watched all the action the other night. It was a long game, though.
I know, but it says, it said that it had been updated later, after the game ended. So, all right. Well,
and even yesterday, we've had 2 updates. It was a long game. Game administration, the officials for both sides
and the
had a really rough
sheets.
night.
And the live stats, my gosh.
Oh, man. Like that whole day between – so my day
You
started,
did. Between
I was supposed to, like – the flight stuff, like I was supposed to leave at 7 and get there at 1, and I ended up leaving around like I hate to, like, this is such a ridiculous thing to complain about, but like there was a lot that there were some tense moments. Like I wasn't sure I was going to get to Orlando in time to cover the game, or at all to cover the game, and so that would have sucked. But but it ended up working out. It was so you start with that. Then you get to the game, and apparently ESPN Plus, as it always does, has issues to start the game. And then the stats thing crashes. I mean, like, that was, and then, of course, the officials and everything else, like, it was just
the score was in doubt.
Oh, yeah. It was. I saw a clip where in the span of, like, 8 or 9 seconds, it went from 101 to 102 to 100 to 103, then back to 102. And, like, it was during the time they were trying to figure it out.
That's little league stuff.
I mean, whatever. The UCS going to the Big 12, I guess, if that's the sort of thing that the Big 12 likes. But yeah, it was just a kind of a crazy day, crazy night.
Hearing Wolo and Matt on the radio broadcast have to question whether or not Kendrick Davis had 42 points is just utterly ridiculous. I mean,
and Dave had it. He had it right in his scorebook, score total and individual player total, and he's doing a million things at one time.
Oh yeah, and they're telling us, like, go to CBS Sports and their StatCast and everything, and I do, and I like.
They didn't log minutes though.
It's halfway through the second half, and they've got DeAndre Williams with 0 fouls. And I'm just like, well, this is garbage. So, like, it was just like one thing after another, but and then, of course, it ends with a loss. And so,
I mean, to go to the Big 12, you need working Wi-Fi, don't you?
I mean, and like, they couldn't, to me, the biggest thing was, like, how do you not have a backup in place?
Right.
And I don't know. It sounds like that whatever software all these schools have to use.
That's what
now,
their line said. You got the old software excuse all day.
I know, that's another thing. It's like you'd think there'd be a backup for that, but like I tweeted this. I during one of my mini minutes stuck in an airport doing nothing. I was sitting next to a pilot who'd been flying for 30 years, and I was like, "Have you ever seen anything like this?" He goes, "Outside of 9/11, no." And that really put it in perspective for me. I was like, "Oh my God, this is." I mean, like it wasn't just, you know, a region of this country. It was the entire country. It was all of Canada, and it was every single international flight that was scheduled to be coming into the United States and Canada, all grounded for like 3 hours. And it was, I'll tell you, what was really, really surreal was to be sitting in an airport for that long and it be as quiet as it was. Like, you know, you kind of get used to that droning and that humming and those the roaring of the engines and stuff. There was none of that. That was really, really odd.
So for the Tigers defensively, I'm curious your thoughts. Do you think they've lost their identity defensively to a certain extent, or you just think this is just a slumping team that's over-helping in a lot of ways and doing things out of their character?
Yeah, I mean, like they just held East Carolina to 59 points. I know it's East Carolina, but like it's not. I don't think that they are just completely incapable of playing good defense. They've done it before, but they were doing it with, like when they were playing well defensively. They had Malcolm Dandridge, and so I kind of think we're all sort of underplaying his value to this team.
We have.
If you want to say, like, he may not be lighting up the scoreboard, you know, so to speak, but like I just think that having him available and playing 15, 20 minutes a game, whatever he was playing, like I do think that his absence has had a very big impact on how things are going these last few weeks. But yeah, no, like I feel like they defensively can get themselves ironed out. It's just taking a little bit longer than I think a lot of people would like for it to. You know, now some of the other stuff, it just looks more and more like it every week that the rebounding is going to be a problem, is going to continue to be a problem, as will the 3-point shooting, you know, Memphis's 3-point shooting. I mean, you know, they got a couple from Keontae Kennedy, and I think Alo made one, DeAndre made one the other night against UCF, but it just looks like it's going to be sporadic. Like, I think we just have to get used to that. Like, there are going to be games where they might hit 1 or 2, but then there might be some games where they hit 8 or 9. But I don't think that the norm, once the season plays all the way out, I don't think the norm is going to be, you know, allowing opponents to average like 80 points a game or 85 points a game. I don't think that's what it's going to end up being. I just feel like, you know, that particular facet of what's happening is just a matter of a lot of things. But I think to use an umbrella term, I just think they're slumping.
Yeah, and Malcolm Dandridge, I think I agree with your sentiment there. Having him as a trusted front court member is massive, but you thought KO would get some minutes and sort of figure out some things. And I thought in that first half, largely very good. I mean, he was good around the rim, finished a little bit, hit 2 free throws, 3 blocks. What was the explanation from Penny about not having him on the floor at all, really, in the second half?
Well, if memory serves, and I asked him directly, like, what was your strategy for not playing KO and not playing Jonathan any more than you did later in that game? And if I remember right, he said something about as it pertained to KO. He said something like, when Hendricks fouled out, or even before Hendricks fouled out, like there was nobody on the floor taller than 6'6". They were playing with 4 or 5 guards pretty much exclusively after halftime. And he didn't, he kind of, I think, thought that meant, well, they were going to start shooting a bunch of threes, and that does stand to reason. Like they were losing, and by quite a few. And the quickest way to get back into a game is to start chucking them up from 3. And KO is not a perimeter defender. Like having him out on the floor, and he's not a great rebounder. He played 11 minutes in the first half at UCF and had 0 rebounds for all his blocks. He's not a very good rebounder at all. And so, it's logical to be like, well, they're going to be shooting from 3. His best, he is best under the rim as far as blocking and redirecting shots. And so even if they miss their 3-pointers, is he even going to get the rebound because he's not a great rebounder? So I'm kind of with him on why he didn't. Ultimately, though, the way it played out when UCF made their run and got back into it, I don't think they hit a single 3-pointer. When it was when Memphis was up 11 or 9 or whatever it was with 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, and then they chip away there, I don't think they hit a single 3-pointer during that run. And so anyway, Penny, it
was just the Atheel Horton 3, I think, to tie it up, right? If my memory serves right.
Yeah, that sounds right. But it was with what, 24 seconds left?
Yeah,
19 seconds left,
whatever it was. Yeah, somewhere in the teens.
And he said by the time he was ready to put another big back in there, he went with Chandler because Chandler's got a better grasp of what they are trying to do, both offensively and defensively, and I can't argue with him there either. So I understand. It's kind of a danged if you do, danged if you don't situation. Like, there's nobody. I mean, like, who can sit here and say that if he had played KO for 10 minutes in the second half or 15 minutes after halftime or even 20, whatever, even 5, who can? You can't say that would have definitely meant things would have gone differently.
Right.
So it's just a tough spot to be in.
Last quick thing, and I know we're up against the clock, but 8 games until they meet that UCF team again at home on the 16th of February, and all of these games they'll likely be favored against Temple on the road on Sunday, Wichita State. I'll go down obviously, and they'll have Temple on the February the 12th before that UCF game. Is 7-1 sort of the bare bone minimum to keep them in the tournament conversation, to keep that hope alive?
Yeah, honestly, yes. I mean, and I would even go so far as, I might say, I wouldn't argue with somebody who says 8-0 is
the
more like
requirement.
Yeah. I wouldn't argue with that at all, just because, this next stretch is not, you're not playing world beaters. You're not even playing anybody close to a world beater. So, and you got games at home. You cannot lose at home, really, to anybody, I don't think, the rest of the way, unless it's Houston. And I would say, though, you cross your fingers like crazy and hope that UCF finishes the season in the top 30 in the net. I think they're 35 or something like that right now, because then if they do, then that return game at FedEx Forum is a quad 1 opportunity. This past, the one down there is definitely probably going to stay a quad 1 game. But given the way it went, you need that return game to be a quad 1 game. So, yeah, I'm of the opinion, though, that 7-1 at least, if not 8-0, is required to stay where you are.
I'm with you, but appreciate it as always,
Be
Jason.
safe,
you have a good
Jason.
weekend.
All right, guys. Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jason Munns. We do thank so much for being with us and wish him well on the road covering the Tigers this weekend. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales, the title sponsor of the third and final hour of our show every day for years, and we appreciate it. You can go online and look at the beautiful cars and see all the testimonials and referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com, but go by and visit them at 5704 Goodman Road. All the cars test-driven, checked out thoroughly, head-to-toe, bumper-to-bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And when you walk into DeSoto Auto Sales, you're treated like family by a kind, courteous staff. But they guarantee you this, the ultimate car experience, because they care about your time. They know we live in a world today that time really matters. You find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, you're gone in that new car in 45 minutes or less at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience you've come to know, love, and trust at DeSoto Auto Sales.
You've heard a bunch of picks today so far, but it's time for us to make some picks. Friday Football Forecast is next.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is now currently hiring all positions. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, please apply today. Choate's is offering huge sign-on bonuses to seasoned technicians, plumbers, installers, and air duct cleaners. At Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, we offer a career, not just a job, by putting you in a paid training program to develop your technical and customer service skills to best serve our customers. Choate's offers top pay in the Mid-South, weekly pay, paid vacation and holidays, company matching retirement account, health, dental, vision, and life insurance, and Christmas, Thanksgiving, and birthday bonuses. If this sounds like an exciting opportunity for you, then we should talk. So call us at 347-8086 or apply online at ChoatesHVAC.com under the careers link. Come, join our family.
The NFL playoffs are here, and the easiest way to get into the action is with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get started with $150 in free bets, guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets. Win or lose with promo code WIN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. Must be present in select states to wager first online. Real money wager only. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbookfanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. For Colorado, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia, West Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 Wyoming, Kansas, or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. 1-877-770-STOP Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. 467-369 in New York. TN Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
It's time to get your Kia on at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And Bobby J is ready to put you in a new Kia today. You ready for a road trip? How about 41 MPG highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS? $254 a month, 36-month lease, $27.99 due at signing. Or rock out in your new 2023 Kia Soul. Only $272 a month, 36-month lease, $27.99 due at signing. And if we don't have what you want, not a problem. Let Bobby J order a new ride for you today, and you won't pay over MSRP. Plus, you always get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today at Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Forte LXS PE 573-573, MSRP 21,335, Soul P 789,935, MSRP 21,835. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2023. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a proud division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. They've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Bill Samish, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763, or the office in Collierville, or online at fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you. They're a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I've had an account, been a friend, and been a customer my entire life. Here we go, guys. Just NFL action. We're done with all the college action. It starts tomorrow, 3:30 on Fox in Santa Clara, very muddy Santa Clara, where they've had all the rain. Pete Carroll back in California, where he won the college national championships for USC. San Francisco, a 9.5-point favorite. San Francisco, all-time in playoffs, 35-23. That includes 5 Super Bowl wins. Seattle, 17-18, all-time in playoffs, both AFC and NFC that they've been in, both through the years. 1 Super Bowl win for Seattle. These two teams have only met one time, though, against each other in playoffs. That was January 19th, 2014, a 23-17 win for Seattle. San Francisco minus 9.5. Gabe, you go first.
So these teams, this is their third meeting this year. Week 2 was nasty. It was in Santa Clara, and the 49ers won 27-7. Seahawks were awful, couldn't get the run game going, had 3 turnovers. Week 15, the 49ers traveled to the Seahawks, and I thought the Seahawks switched it around. They played really well defensively, didn't turn the ball over. Geno Smith had a good game. But I feel like, people say, okay, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. I feel like the third meeting, the 49ers have every bit of film they could possibly need. I know how good Pete Carroll is and could be in a playoff situation, but I'm going with the Niners minus the 9.5, and I fully expect them to wallop them at home.
That's a really good setup. Bryant takes Seattle.
Didn't hear you.
Bryant takes Seattle.
Okay,
Straight
Seattle.
up or just the points? Just the points, yeah. I loved your setup, Gabe. I really did. But I love Pete Carroll. I love Arlington Tiger product, Kenneth Walker. And this is a chance for Geno Smith to really change, maybe forever, the dialogue about him and around him. Seattle, straight up, 23-21.
Okay, rock on. Go for it. Knock yourself out.
7:15 tomorrow night on NBC. Al Michaels with Tony Dungy as the announced crew. The Chargers are a 1.5-point favorite in Jacksonville. What a win for Jacksonville. Chargers 12-8 all-time in playoffs. 0 Super Bowls, 1 Super Bowl appearance, though. And this is the first playoff meeting ever between these two teams. Jacksonville, 7-7 all-time in the playoffs. They haven't been around that long. No Super Bowl appearances. So no wins, no losses there. First time for them to meet against each other in the playoffs. The Chargers a 1.5-point favorite. Bryant. Chargers or Jacksonville?
I'm going to go with the Chargers. I know a lot of people are on Jacksonville, and I might be rooting for Jacksonville over the weekend, but I don't know. I'm going to go against the Tide with this one. I think the Chargers is a better team. Why not take them?
Cash is cash.
That's
Gabe?
right.
For me, I'm going to go the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert rises to the occasion in his first playoff game in his career. And also, I think in the grand scheme of what they did week 4 or week 3, whatever it was, and the Jaguars beating them 38-10, I'm sort of flip-flopping here. You know, the first conversation I had about the Seahawks and Niners is that, you know, the book is thick. The Niners know what they're doing. I think the Chargers learned a lot about that matchup, and I feel like they can flip the script here. I get the Chargers minus the 1.5.
Man, Gabe, your setup today is off the charts. Good stuff. Way to go. And Brian, I like your natural feel for both your picks with Seattle and the Chargers. I'm going against you, though. I'm going to take Jacksonville. I'm going to take Jacksonville to win the game. I don't need the points, but I'll take them 1.5. Jacksonville, 28-27. High hard one. Who would you rather have going forward, Herbert or Lawrence?
Herbert for me, but
Lawrence.
Hey, Herbert. What about you, Brett?
I said pick one. What's wrong with Brett? What's wrong?
No, Brett, come on, Brett.
You can only have one starting quarterback, Brett.
I think it'd be Herbert.
Okay, there we go.
I think it would be. Noon, Sunday, CBS, Buffalo minus 13.5. Overwhelming emotion around the Bills. Everybody's prayers, best wishes, thoughts, the medical providers. They did excellent work with DeMar Hamilton, and it will be some emotional scene. 13.5-point favorite. The Bills are over Miami, 2 original AFL teams. Buffalo 17-19 all time in the playoffs. We know no Super Bowls. We know the 4 Super Bowl appearances, but they are 3-1 all time in the playoffs over the Dolphins. Miami 20-21 all time in the playoffs. 2 Super Bowls a long time ago. 5 Super Bowl appearances. The last one a long time ago. Give me Miami, but not straight up, just plus the points. Buffalo wins 27-14. I win by a half point. Gabe.
This is where I'm just going to fade the public for the sake of fading the public. Right now, on the money line bets, Buffalo, 94% of the money's coming in on the money line, 77% coming in on the spread, regardless of how big it is at 13.5. I think it's too many points. I think the Dolphins have seen them twice this year, have played relatively good defense, not in the second matchup, but the first matchup in particular. I'm going to take the Dolphins plus the points because I just think the number's massive.
Those are great numbers, Gabe, and I didn't know that, but I'm glad I know it now because I don't have a lot of rules when it comes to NFL betting. I have a ton of rules when it comes to college. I won't pick against Alabama as long as Nick Saban's the head coach there. After the win on Monday, Kirby Smart's gotten into that category.
Home dog on a weekday?
Home dog on a weekend. That's also a college one. I don't have many when it comes to NFL. I think Mike Tomlin as a home underdog is probably my only one rule when it comes to NFL betting. But another one is going to have to be, if you're going to give me 2 touchdowns in any NFL game, these are all professionals. I don't care who's that quarterback. They have playmakers. I'll take the Fins plus 13.5.
Our first playoff group lock. There we go. We all take the Dolphins in the bowl games. 4-8 group lock. All season, everything picked. 14-31. Maybe we can finally turn it around on the NFL playoffs. 3:30 Sunday on Fox, Minnesota. A 3.5-point favorite over the Giants. That game will be played in the Dome in downtown Minnesota. Minnesota all-time 21-30 in the playoffs. No Super Bowl wins. 4 Super Bowl appearances. They're 1-2 all-time in the playoffs over the Giants. The Giants 24-25 all-time in the playoffs. 4 Super Bowl wins. 5 Super Bowl appearances. They had the loss to Baltimore. Minnesota 3.5-point favorite over the Giants. Give me the Giants plus the 3.5, but I think Minnesota wins 28-26.
I'm going to rock with the Giants, but I'm going to take the straight-up upset. I think the Giants handle business on the road. They dealt with this game earlier in the year, week 16, 27-24. They turned the ball over twice. And what do you think I'm going to say right here? What do you think the biggest key to victory, I think, is for the Giants that they do really well? Run the ball and stop the run.
Run the ball, no doubt.
I think they'll be comfortable. Saquon is back healthy. I like the Giants in this game straight up.
Brett?
You know, Brett, I love picking right after Gabe because he gives all of these great stats and great, reasons for his pick. And I just have no rhyme or reason, especially for this game. I'm just going to take the Vikings because, why not?
Skull.
It's the Giants. We hate the Giants. So I'll take the Vikings.
Skol.
But we love the horn in Minnesota.
We do.
We love that horn, don't we?
Yes.
7:15 Sunday night on NBC. Cincinnati minus 8.5. That's AFC defending champion Cincinnati minus 8.5 over Baltimore. Cincinnati 8-15 all time in playoffs. No Super Bowl wins, but 3 Super Bowl appearances and 1 last year. First playoff meeting ever against the Ravens. The Ravens 16-11, 2 Super Bowl wins, 2 Super Bowl appearances. They've never lost a Super Bowl game. Not many people can say that. The Buccaneers can, and the New York Jets can. But this is the first playoff meeting between these two. Cincinnati, 8.5-point favorite over Baltimore. Bengals, easy, 42-17.
Bryant, you go second here.
I'll take the Ravens.
You know what,
Okay.
Bryant?
You got 'em.
I like the track you're on, man. I really
Thank
like
you.
it.
There's
I'm not
real
gonna
track.
Call,
It's just kind of all over the place.
I'm not going to call it a straight-up upset, but what I will say is you say I give a lot of good explanations on
Great
Friday football
explanations.
forecast.
The best I hear.
This is the one where I have no explanation at all. I'm going to take the Ravens plus the 8.5.
Come to the dark side.
Just threw the play sheet out. And just
Right.
went with gut feel, didn't you, Gabe?
Straight gut feel on this. But third matchup, and I think the Ravens have done a good job defensively. There's my
Great
explanation.
reason, Gabe.
And we will pick the Monday night game, Monday Night Football. We will do that Monday afternoon at 5:30. But that's our picks for today. Good stuff, guys.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Now, on that Monday night game, we're going to have to cite a lot of stats, huh? Cite a lot of stats that do not favor the Cowboys, right? Cowboys lost 8 road playoff games
We also
in a row.
will go with our 4 greatest Cowboys and Buccaneers ever.
Let's go.
On Monday.
Well, 4 greatest ever. We've done those both, right, this year for Monday night.
No, we just did our 4 favorites. This will be the real rings of honor.
Okay, rock on.
I'm glad you told me now, Brett, because that's going to take the whole weekend to think over.
You gonna have Cliff Harris on there?
I don't know. Cooper Rush might make an appearance on it.
You gonna have Leroy Jordan?
Oh, maybe.
Cooper Rush, you know what I came across last night, by the way, Brian? Since you tweet out our show every day, you do a great job of it. Great producer. Super producer, Brian Dacus.
Also tweet out stories if you want to go read about the Tigers.
That
Go
too.
check it
Our
out.
team Memphis, shout out.
Plug.
Yes,
that's how you
job
plug
there.
right there.
Shameless, whatever. It doesn't matter.
I have no
looked
shame.
at your bio. You have taken out your, what was the old one? Herb Adderley?
Herb Adderley. I love
Former
Herb Adderley.
Cowboy also.
Have you seen his newsstand in his bio?
No, I have not.
Hashtag
Cooper Rush. We did that on the show a while ago.
Oh, that's right.
Hashtag Cooper Rush stand, Brian
It's
Dacus.
still up there. If they go to a Super Bowl, MVP of the Super Bowl, Cooper Rush. He doesn't have to play a snap. He's the reason they're there.
If it was just give me
You
your
can make
big
that case.
Yeah.
give me your big 4 Cowboy quarterbacks all time.
Romo's in there for
Romo's
sure.
number 1.
Okay.
Oh no.
Cooper Rush number 2.
Oh no, we can't do this.
Troy
What about
Aikman's number
Quincy Carter?
3.
Quincy Carter in there?
No,
I don't know.
he's
See,
not.
I've
Drew
only,
Henson's not either.
I've really only been alive for like 2 Cowboys.
No Troy
quarterbacks.
Aikman, though.
But again,
No, he's
you
3.
weren't-
Okay.
You weren't alive for the American Revolution War, but you know it was impactful.
That's what my history book told me. I don't know how much I believe it.
Staubach or Aikman, who's best?
Oh, my gosh.
Staubach.
That was just a straight spur-of-the-moment answer, too, Brett. He has not thought about that one second
Nah,
in his life.
Staubach's great. He's number 3 on the number 4 on the all-time list.
But then you put Aikman ahead of him.
Well, you got to factor in the broadcasting career in there too. I mean, what's Troy Aikman without the broadcasting career?
Do you?
Oh yeah, it's at least 50 points.
Romo's the record holder, but he's nowhere near better than Aikman or Staubach.
But Brett, you were also very critical about my all-time favorite Cowboys list because it didn't have any Super Bowl winners on it. So
Well, that's right. You had
I had Des Bryant on there. Very proud to have Des Bryant
Miles
on
Austin.
there.
over
You had
Miles
Miles
Austin was over there. I never watched him play. I watched highlights, never seen him play.
Again. I didn't watch the American Revolutionary or the Revolutionary War, not American. This is the Revolutionary War, but I know it was impactful.
You know, Brett, the only response I have to that is I never watched Wilt Chamberlain play, and I still don't believe he scored 100 points.
We can't do that. I read a book about it.
You believe a book?
Always.
There's some bad books out there that are not believable books, Brett. He's got a point. You know, he has a point.
Y'all aren't going to get this started.
Well, I've told Bryant since he started his whole, since he's talked consistently about his conspiracy theories, he needs to get like the old, like a sounder of some sort. He needs to get the
I thought you were gonna
Twilight
talk about the
Zone
tin
sounder
hat.
or whatever
Brian,
it is.
I know your mom. She was an English teacher. I
Still
know
is.
you took.
Well, no,
you
she's
took
not.
still is okay.
Well, no, she's
I
not
know
anymore. I lied.
I know you took history. Were you a good history student?
I was pretty good history. I like history. I was a pretty good history student. Great English student.
Did you question anything then?
No, not really. But, that was before all the conspiracy theory starts. That's before I opened my third eye, Gabe. I don't have it recently.
That's before Reddit became a thing, huh?
That's right. I actually don't get on Reddit that much, but I think I'd have way more conspiracy theories if I was on Reddit.
I mean, I wasn't there for the Peloponnesian War, but I know all about it.
Never heard of it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get to a break on that note. And when we come back, we will put a wrap on this week of Sports Time with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Willoshin here for Homer Skelton Hyundai. I love to brag about my friends right at the corner of Highway 78, Lamar, and the first exit in Mississippi, Craft Road. They always come up with some innovative program that makes you want to just go out and get your brand new car. And I'm talking Hyundais. Right now, you can get a new Santa Fe. You can get a new Tucson. You can get any brand new Hyundai, state-of-the-art technology. You can get that without paying for 3 months. You've heard me correctly. You can get a brand new Hyundai and not pay for 90 days. This just started. It's going all the way through January. You could say a Christmas present, a holiday present from Homer Skelton Hyundai. Again, make your deal and then don't worry for 90 days about paying the very first payment, and only at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. Like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
I'm with John Virgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, I want to talk about our seasoning and sauce today. Our sauce is a great blend of sweet, mustard, and vinegar. It's good on so many items other than barbecue. It's good on pizza. People use it in lieu of ketchup. But our seasoning is the original dry rub, created by my father using a mixture of Greek and Cajun spices. People think our sauce and seasoning are good just during the grilling season. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's good year-round. Our seasoning is good on fish, chicken, deviled eggs, corn on the cob, French fries. People even put a dash in a Bloody Mary. To get a complete list of all of our recipes using our products, go to hogsfly.com, click recipes, and you'll see 50 wonderful items and dishes. And Brett, our sauce and seasoning is available at most grocery stores, and if they don't have it, please remind your grocer to stock it. And our slaw is also available at most Kroger stores.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
When you see a City of Memphis service vehicle such as solid waste or code enforcement, slow down, yield, or move over. You can help save a life. Move over, Memphis. Let's help keep them safe.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
This is a damn fine automobile, if you want my honest opinion.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
There's a set going strong, a lot of things going on. The man of the hour has an air of great.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking
fucking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Brett, what I learned today is that the AP All-Pro teams dropped. First team is very cool. I want to bring it back to what I talked about at the start of the show. Make sure you go check out the Players All-Pro versus the AP All-Pro. I think there's a lot of cool sort of differences that they get into. But AP All-Pro today, Travis Kelce, Justin Jefferson, unanimous All-Pros, the only two. Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati, first rookie cornerback in 41 years to be first-team All-Pro since Ronnie Lott.
A better rookie year than Darrelle Revis had.
Since Ronnie Lott in 1981. And, I mean, that's unbelievable to think about. Talanoa Hufanga in year 2 of his career out of USC, safety for the 49ers, gets a nod, first-team AP All-Pro. And then there's this, Micah Parsons. And I think that Nick Bosa will win Defensive Player of the Year when it's ultimately said and done, but Micah Parsons certainly has his case. But Micah Parsons is the second defender since the 1970 NFL-AFL merger to be named to the first-team AP All-Pro team in his first 2 seasons in the league. The only other player that did that was Lawrence Taylor in 81 and 82. Micah Parsons is in great company.
I learned today that Sunday in Philadelphia for the Tigers feels very, very desperate. Can't lose anywhere for any reason to net 157 and consider yourself an NCAA tournament team. That's just the truth. Temple isn't very good, 10-8 with losses to Wagner, Penn, Ole Miss, Maryland, Eastern Shore. Got to win somehow, some way.
No question.
Sunday.
No question. What I could have done without, it goes back to Brandon Staley. We talked about it coming out of the weekend, the fact that he played all of his players up until the fourth quarter, and it led to Mike Williams being carted off. They tried to save face for a while and say Mike Williams is questionable. He might play. Very talented receiver, their number 2 receiver behind Keenan Allen. But we figure out today, because they reevaluated him, that he has a fracture in his back. So you played him for no reason for the entire game, and he fractures his back. He will not play Saturday. He will not play even if they make a run in these playoffs. That's just nasty stuff from Brandon Staley.
I could have done without the news that security having to be ramped up at gymnastic meets involving Olivia Dunn. A, news to me Olivia Dunn exists. B, news of crowds at gymnastics not called the Olympics exists. C, TikTok influencers.
Yep.
Everyone just be kind out there. We have way too much time on our hands.
You know what the worst thing is? Olivia Dunn's not even participating because she's hurt. She's not even participating in meets. Golly.
Load management?
Social media influencers.
Well, I don't think that's the case. I think she actually has like a stress fracture. I don't know. I don't keep up with gymnastics.
I just got the joke.
Report.
I was on a 7-second delay on the joke. I'm sorry.
Well, I was trying to ignore it. But anyways.
That was pretty good.
It was great.
What I'm looking forward to tonight and over the weekend, Grizzlies Pacers on Saturday, Tigers versus Temple on Sunday. Tonight we do have 2 ESPN games, Warriors versus Spurs. Warriors got to get off the mat. This is a run
Go
that they
Clippers.
They need to go on if they're going to get back into this thing, because I looked at their schedule. They're at Spurs, at Bulls, at Wizards. After that, for the rest of January, Celtics, Cavs, Nets, Grizzlies, Raptors. You better get these 3 wins here, or you're going to be struggling for the rest of January.
I'm going to be watching, can the Dolphins run the ball against Buffalo, and can they protect Skylar Thompson? Can the Seahawks O-line block the 49ers D-line? Herbert versus Lawrence, showtime. Boring versus boring, Danny Dimes versus Kirk Cousins. Tigers at Temple Sunday. Grizzlies in Indianapolis tomorrow night. Great sports weekend this weekend.
And apparently I'm going to be keeping an eye on the LSU gymnastics injury report.
It just means more.
Load management.
Even on the pole beams.
You need help. You need help, Bryant. That's why I love you, though, man. That's why I love you. That's all we have for today and the week. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Alan Bell, Bruce Marshall, Ty Richardson, and Jason Munz for their contributions to Friday's show. But for Bryant, for Brett, I'm Gabe. Be easy, stay safe, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the